What if the secret to dissolving your deepest stress lies not in endless striving, but in the simple act of stillness, as revealed in ancient Buddha stories that have soothed restless minds for millennia? Imagine transforming rage into peace with just a bottle of ordinary water, or rather, the profound silence it teaches, drawing from timeless tales that unlock the calm already within you. Could a broken bowl or a starving tigress hold the key to unbreakable inner peace, showing how embracing change and selfless compassion can end suffering tonight, just as Buddha discovered 2,500 years ago. The power of stillness and mindfulness, the muddy lake, allowing the mind to clear naturally. In the ancient tales shared in this Buddha story collection, one of the most profound lessons emerges from the simple encounter between Buddha and his disciple Ananda by a sparkling lake that turns murky before their eyes. The story begins with Buddha and his followers walking along a dusty road under the heavy afternoon sun, their robes clinging to their skin like a second layer of exhaustion. They arrive at a beautiful lake, its surface so still and clear that it reflects the sky like a mirror, revealing smooth stones and darting fish below. Buddha, feeling thirsty, asks Ananda to fetch him some water. But as Ananda approaches, village children splash into the lake, kicking up mud, and a farmer's ox-drawn cart churns through the shallows, transforming the pristine water into a swirling, muddy mess. Ananda returns empty-handed, disappointed that he cannot offer such undrinkable water to his master. Buddha suggests they rest under a nearby fig tree, embracing stillness rather than forcing a solution. After half an hour, he asks Ananda to try again. Miraculously, the lake has returned to its crystal clarity, the mud having settled naturally to the bottom. This core message, central to the transcript's teachings for deep relaxation and stress relief, illustrates how the human mind mirrors this lake. When disturbed by worry, anger, fear, or endless thoughts, the mind becomes cloudy and unclear, making it impossible to see solutions or find peace. Just as Ananda initially wanted to seek another source or fix the problem immediately, people often fight against their mental turbulence, straining, filtering, or stirring more vigorously through overthinking or reactive actions. But Buddha's gentle wisdom reveals that such efforts only create more disturbance, like thrashing in muddy water to make it muddier. Instead, the wisest approach is to be still, to allow the mind to rest without judgment or force. In this patience, the mud of troubling thoughts settles on its own, restoring the mind's natural clarity and peace. Applying this to daily life, as emphasized in the stories for inner peace, consider moments of overwhelming stress, a demanding job, family conflicts, or sleepless nights filled with anxiety. The transcript urges listeners to remember the lake when the day feels impossible. Your racing mind isn't broken, it's simply stirred by life's demands. The peace you seek isn't something to create or achieve, it's already there, beneath the surface, waiting to reveal itself. Practices like meditation and deep breathing work not by adding peace, but by allowing the inherent tranquility to emerge. In the story, Buddha asks Ananda what he did to clean the water, and the disciple replies, "Nothing, I simply waited." This profound teaching underscores that non-action or mindful stillness is often the most powerful action. Expanding on this core idea, the transcript connects the muddy lake to broader Buddhist principles of mindfulness. In our modern world, filled with constant distractions and pressures, we carry this ancient wisdom as a hidden treasure. When anxiety clouds thoughts, stepping away, perhaps dimming lights, grabbing a soft blanket, and just listening to stories like these allows the mind to settle. The lake never lost its purity, even when muddy. Similarly, your mind never loses its clarity, even in confusion. This realization brings deep relaxation, as the transcript promises. People report falling into peaceful sleep or vanishing anxiety after engaging with these tales. Delving deeper, the stories setting a dusty road between villages. The heat, making steps feel like walking through honey, symbolizes life's journey with its inevitable disturbances. The children and farmer represent external events that stir our inner world unpredictably. Buddha's response, settling in shade and embracing silence where one hears their heartbeat and breath, models how to cultivate this stillness. Birds calling, a gentle breeze, these details remind us to tune into the present moment's subtle rhythms, fostering stress relief. In practical terms, the transcript suggests applying this during commutes or late-night worries. Instead of solving everything, just listen and rest. The magic works while you relax, unlocking inner peace. Ananda's wonder at the cleared lake mirrors our awe when mindfulness reveals solutions we couldn't see amid turmoil. Buddha's sip from the bowl, treating it as a precious gift, teaches gratitude for restored clarity. This teaching extends to relationships and self-care. When emotions muddy interactions, pausing prevents escalation. For insomnia, lying still without forcing sleep allows the mind to clear, leading to restful nights. The transcript notes this is why meditation helps. It permits natural settling, revealing birthright clarity. Ultimately, the Muddy Lake story encapsulates the collection's essence. Peace is innate, accessed through stillness. By not fighting disturbances, we allow transformation. This core message, repeated for emphasis, offers immediate relief tonight. Let your mind be the lake, resting in quiet, trusting the mud to settle. In doing so, you discover what Buddha knew, the end of suffering through simple, patient awareness, resting in the present, releasing the need to fix everything. The essence of Buddha's teachings, as captured in this collection of stories for deep relaxation and stress relief, often circles back to a deceptively simple yet transformative idea: the profound power of resting in the present moment without the compulsive need to fix, solve, or control every aspect of our experience. This theme weaves through the introductory invitation of the transcript, where the narrator welcomes listeners to Moonmind Temple and promises that for the next 3 hours, you don't need to fix anything, solve anything, or even stay awake. Just listen. These stories will work their ancient magic while you rest. This gentle directive sets the stage for all the tales that follow, emphasizing that true inner peace emerges not from frantic effort, but from surrendering to the now, allowing the wisdom of the stories to unfold naturally within us. It's a call to release the exhaustion of constant striving, which mirrors the broader Buddhist principle that suffering arises from resistance to what is, and freedom comes from acceptance in the present. Drawing directly from the Muddy Lake story, this concept of resting without intervention is vividly illustrated when Buddha and his disciples encounter the disturbed water. Instead of pushing forward to find another source or attempting to clean the lake through action, as Ananda initially suggests, Buddha proposes they simply rest under the ancient fig tree. "Let us rest here under this tree for a while," he says, noting that sometimes the wisest action is simply to be still. The disciples settle around him, some meditating, others gazing at the water, enveloped in a peaceful silence where they can hear their own heartbeats and feel the rhythm of their breathing. Birds call softly, a breeze stirs the air, and time passes in quietude. This deliberate pause, without any attempt to manipulate the situation, allows the lake to clear itself. The transcript highlights this as a metaphor for the mind. When turbulent with stress or worry, the act of resting without judging or forcing permits natural resolution. Buddha's smile and understanding eyes convey that stillness isn't laziness but wisdom, a release from the illusion that we must always do something to achieve peace. This teaching resonates deeply with the collection's purpose of fostering deep relaxation and inner peace, as it addresses the modern affliction of perpetual busyness. The narrator asks listeners to share where they're listening from, perhaps lying awake in Chicago at 2 a.m. or commuting in London traffic, creating a sense of shared presence across a restless world. The invitation to grab the softest blanket you own, dim those lights, and settle into the quietest space reinforces, resting as the gateway to healing. In this present-focused rest, there's no need to fix the anxiety that simply vanished for some listeners, or the sleepless nights that transform into peaceful slumber. The stories themselves become the vehicle, unlocking something already inside you that's been waiting beneath worry and exhaustion. By not striving to stay awake or solve problems, the mind absorbs the teachings subconsciously, aligning with Buddha's insight that peace is your birthright, not an achievement. Extending this to other stories in the transcript, the theme of releasing the need to fix appears in the Broken Bowl Tale, where Buddha remains serene as his cherished possession shatters. His disciples rush to gather pieces or express sorrow, attempting to fix the loss, but Buddha observes with peaceful acceptance, asking, "Why do you look so troubled?" He explains that the bowl hasn't gone anywhere, it's just changed form, and that suffering comes from attachment to unchanging conditions. Here, resting in the present means accepting the breakage without frantic salvage efforts, finding joy in the impermanence rather than resisting it. Similarly, in the anger medicine story, Priya learns to pause with silence instead of exploding in rage, by not trying to fix her emotions through prayers or promises, but simply holding the medicine, water, on her tongue for 10 minutes. Her anger dissolves naturally. The sage reveals it was the silence, not the liquid, that worked the restful pause, allowing wisdom to arise. In the context of stress relief, this release from fixing is revolutionary, challenging the backward teachings mentioned at the start. What if everything you've been taught about handling stress, anxiety, and sleepless nights has been completely backwards? The transcript posits that a man from 2,500 years ago, Buddha discovered the secret to end suffering tonight through presence, not problem-solving. For instance, in the cup of water demonstration for worry, Buddha shows that burdens grow heavier, not from their inherent weight, but from holding them continuously without rest. The solution? Set them down periodically, resting the mind as one rests a tired arm. Virat, the worried merchant, learns that mindfulness practices provide this rest, revealing worries in their true proportion without the need to eliminate them forcefully. The Four Noble Truths shared in Buddha's enlightenment story further underscore this. Suffering, dukkha, permeates life due to craving, tanha, but its cessation, nirodha, comes through the Eightfold Path, which includes right mindfulness, being present without grasping. Buddha's night under the Bodhi tree involved deep meditation, a form of profound rest where layers of ignorance peeled away naturally without forced fixing. Even in transformation tales like Angulimala's, Buddha's words, "I have stopped. It is you who are still running," invite the killer to rest from his endless chase, releasing the need to fix his pain through violence. Practically, the transcript encourages applying this in daily life. When overwhelmed, remember you don't need to solve everything immediately. Tonight, as stories play, let yourself be like that lake. Rest, be still. This fosters relaxation, as forcing sleep or peace only stirs more mud. In generosity lessons, like the beggar's, true abundance comes from giving without calculating fixes for scarcity. King Mahadana's selfless offering, even of his life, shows ultimate rest in presence, free from attachment to outcomes. This section's core ties back to the collection's magic, knowing we're all here together, finding peace across every corner of this restless world. By releasing the fixer mindset, we open to the present's gifts, birds' songs, breath's rhythm, stories' subtle work. Buddha's compassion in each tale models this. He doesn't rush to solve disciples' troubles, but invites restful reflection, leading to insight. In essence, resting in the present is the antidote to exhaustion from endless doing. As the transcript concludes, "May all beings be peaceful. This peace blooms in the now, unforced." Through these stories, we learn that fixing often perpetuates turmoil. Resting reveals the clarity always there. Meditation as a tool for inner clarity. Meditation emerges throughout the Buddha story collection as an indispensable tool for cultivating inner clarity, serving as the practical bridge between theoretical wisdom and lived experience in achieving deep relaxation, stress relief, and inner peace. The transcript repeatedly positions meditation not as an esoteric practice reserved for monks, but as an accessible method for anyone to access the mind's natural stillness, much like the settling of the muddy lake. In Buddha's enlightenment narrative, this tool takes center stage. Under the Bodhi tree, the prince who would become Buddha enters profound meditation, vowing not to rise until awakening is achieved. Layers of confusion peel away during the night's watches, revealing past lives, karma's workings, and the Four Noble Truths. This deep immersion in meditation allows ignorance to dissolve naturally, leading to clarity that illuminates suffering's causes and cessation. The transcript emphasizes that meditation here isn't about forcing insight, but resting in awareness, where the mind clarifies itself, mirroring the lake's self-purification when left undisturbed. Central to this is the understanding that meditation fosters clarity by training the mind to observe without interference, a key message for stress relief in the stories. In the muddy lake tale, while waiting for the water to clear, some disciples close their eyes to meditate, gazing inward amid the peaceful silence of heartbeats and breath. This practice embodies Buddha's teaching. When the mind is turbulent, meditation provides the stillness needed for thoughts to settle. The transcript connects this to modern applications, noting that this is why meditation works, why deep breathing helps, why stepping away from problems often leads to solutions. It's not adding peace but revealing what's already there, beneath surface disturbances. For listeners struggling with anxiety or sleeplessness, the narrator suggests settling into a quiet space and listening to the stories as a meditative act, allowing ancient magic to work while resting. This aligns with Buddha's compassionate voice in the story, explaining that fighting disturbed thoughts only muddies them further. Meditation's gentle patience restores original clarity. The cup of water demonstration further illustrates meditation's role in gaining inner clarity about worries. Virat, the exhausted merchant, burdened by endless concerns, learns from Buddha that holding worries continuously, like gripping the cup, exhausts the mind, making them seem heavier. The solution? Set them down through mindfulness and meditation, giving the mind rest. Buddha gestures to the grove's peaceful elements, birds singing, sunlight filtering, as aids for present moment awareness. Dedicated daily meditation reveals worry's true proportions. Some shrink, others yield solutions invisible amid tension. The transcript stresses this, separates us from identification with worries. We become the observing awareness, fostering clarity that you are not your worries. This tool transforms Virat's suffering, showing meditation as medicine for mental fatigue, directly tying to the collection's promise of vanished anxiety and peaceful sleep. In the Lotus Flower teaching, meditation's power for wordless clarity shines through Buddha's silent holding of the bloom. Disciples expect explanation, but Buddha sits in stillness, inviting direct experience. Most puzzle over symbolism, their minds racing. Only Mahakasyapa smiles in recognition, awakening to simplicity beyond concepts. This silent wisdom underscores meditation as a tool to bypass intellectual grasping, accessing intuitive clarity. The transcript describes this as transcending complexity into brilliant simplicity of direct truth, where seeking ends and presence reveals all. For inner peace, it teaches resting in meditation without analysis, like the lake's non-action. The narrator reinforces this by encouraging listeners to let these stories settle into your hearts like seeds, a meditative absorption without effort. Monk Kassapa's journey balances meditation with compassion, warning against extremes that obscure clarity. His rigorous meditation and fasting harden his heart until a boy's kindness awakens him. Seeking Buddha, he learns meditation needs both wisdom and openness. Discipline alone leads to rigidity. Buddha advises integrating meditation with an open heart, accelerating progress by flowing with existence. The transcript uses this to show meditation clarifies when compassionate, not isolative, essential for stress relief, as isolated practice might amplify inner turmoil. The Four Noble Truths, realized in meditation, provide structural clarity. Dukkha, suffering; samudaya, craving's origin; nirodha, cessation; magga, eightfold path including right mindfulness and concentration. Buddha's deep concentration develops insight, extinguishing greed, hatred, delusion. For listeners, this means meditation verifies truths experientially, not philosophically, leading to peace surpassing understanding. In Angulimala's transformation, meditation post-conversion leads to arhatship, clarifying his Buddha nature despite past darkness. Practicing mindful speech and pause meditative elements helps him respond peacefully to hostility, seeing karma without attachment. The transcript notes, his dedicated practice achieves enlightenment quickly, proving meditation's transformative clarity for even the most troubled. The discouraged monk's story recalls past life perseverance through meditation-like focus, digging for water when hopeless. Buddha reminds him of inner strength, urging renewed meditative commitment for breakthrough. Practical tips from the transcript. Start with breath awareness, as in the lake's rhythmic silence, or observe thoughts like passing clouds. For clarity amid stress, meditate briefly daily, setting down mental cups. The collection ends with meditation's fruits: happiness, peace, freedom for all beings. Ultimately, meditation as a tool demystifies inner clarity. It's the still space where mud settles, worries lighten, and truths dawn. As Buddha's life shows, it's the path from seeking to awakening, offering the relaxation this collection promises. Trusting the mind's natural peace. At the heart of the Buddha story collection lies a recurring invitation to trust the mind's natural peace, a foundational teaching that promises deep relaxation and stress relief by recognizing that tranquility is not something to be earned or manufactured, but an inherent quality waiting to be uncovered. This trust is vividly embodied in the muddy lake story, where Buddha explains to Ananda that the lake's essential purity was never lost. Even amid the muddiest disturbance, it simply awaited stillness to reveal itself again. Just as the lake never lost its essential purity, even when filled with mud, your mind never loses its natural clarity, even in moments of greatest confusion. Buddha teaches with infinite compassion. The transcript reinforces this as a core message. Peace is your birthright, already present beneath worry and exhaustion, requiring only trust in the process of settling. Listeners are urged to trust that your mind knows exactly how to find its way back to the clarity that is your birthright, especially during the 3-hour session where stories work their magic without effort. This trust counters the backward teachings of striving against stress, instead embracing Buddha's ancient secret for ending suffering tonight through gentle faith in the mind's innate wisdom. Building on this, the broken bowl tale deepens the lesson of trusting natural peace amid change. When the cherished bowl shatters, Buddha remains serene, observing without disappointment or salvage attempts, trusting that nothing is ever truly lost, it only changes form. His disciples' distress stems from lack of trust in impermanence's perfection, but Buddha's calm acceptance demonstrates faith in life's unfolding. True peace comes from understanding that we can find joy and meaning in every form that life takes, he says, encouraging trust that whole bowls and broken ones both serve perfectly. The transcript ties this to inner peace. By trusting change rather than resisting, we release suffering from conditional love. This extends to modern restlessness, where trusting the mind's adaptability brings relief, as in the narrator's promise that anxiety vanishes when we stop fighting life's fragments. The anger medicine story illustrates trusting the mind's peace through silence. Priya, plagued by rage, learns to trust the medicine, water, and 10 minutes of closed-mouth stillness, discovering anger dissolves naturally without forced control. The sage reveals it was silence's power, trusting that anger cannot survive without the fuel of words. Like a fire without wood, it simply burns out. Buddha concludes that silence is cool water that extinguishes the coal, fostering trust in the pause where wisdom arises. For stress relief, this means trusting emotions to pass when not voiced reactively, aligning with the collection's magic of peaceful sleep through non-resistance. In the beggar's lesson, trusting inner abundance cultivates natural peace. Kanthaka, feeling cursed by poverty, learns from Buddha to trust his unseen riches: a smile, kind words, compassionate eyes, helpful hands. "You are far richer than you realize," Buddha says, urging trust that generosity creates abundance, shifting from scarcity to sufficiency. The transcript emphasizes this mindset change. By trusting what we already possess, outer circumstances improve, bringing peace beyond material lack. Kanthaka's transformation proves trusting innate wealth ends the turmoil of comparison. The cup of water teaching reinforces trusting the mind's restorative power. Virat's worries weigh heavier from constant holding. Buddha advises trusting periods of rest through meditation, where clarity emerges naturally. You discover that many worries begin to appear in their true proportion. Revealing trust in setting burdens down lightens the load. This tool for inner peace encourages trusting the mind's strength grows through hold and release, not perpetual grip. Buddha's enlightenment under the Bodhi tree exemplifies ultimate trust in the mind's peace. Vowing to meditate until awakening or death, he trusts the process despite years of fruitless searching. Revelations come in meditative watches. Trusting ignorance peels away to uncover truths. The Four Noble Truths affirm suffering ends through trusting the path. Right mindfulness reveals peace, independent of cravings. The transcript positions this as medicine. Trusting these truths settles like seeds, leading to freedom. The lotus flower silent teaching demands trust in direct experience for clarity. Buddha holds the flower wordlessly, trusting disciples will see beyond concepts. Mahakasyapa's smile shows trust in presence awakens simplicity, where seeking in elaborate teachings yields to inherent truth. For relaxation, this means trusting stories' subtle work without analysis. Kasapa's extreme asceticism story warns against distrusting the body's signals, leading to hardened hearts. Trusting compassion's integration with discipline, as Buddha advises, restores natural flow. The boy's kindness awakens trust in receiving, clarifying the path. Angulimala's redemption hinges on trusting Buddha. Nature remains untarnished. Buddha's compassion invites trust in transformation. There is no darkness so deep that the light of awakening cannot penetrate it. Trusting remorse and practice, he attains enlightenment, proving peace awaits beneath actions. The discouraged monk regains trust through past life recall, where perseverance uncovered water. Buddha reminds him to trust inner strength for breakthrough. The three wishes for the merchant teach trusting self-understanding over external fixes. The final wish for clarity reveals peace from knowing the mind. Trusting inner development fills emptiness. The golden fish and tigress stories show trusting compassion frees both giver and receiver. Trusting kindness's rewards surpass greed. The transcript's close affirms trusting stories' quiet magic brings awakening. May all beings be peaceful, trusting this innate state. Trusting the mind's natural peace, as these tales teach, dissolves stress by surrendering to what's already whole. This faith in inherent clarity brings the relaxation promised, ending suffering through patient recognition, applying stillness in daily stress. The Buddha Story Collection, designed for deep relaxation and stress relief, repeatedly demonstrates how applying stillness in daily stress transforms overwhelming challenges into opportunities for inner peace, drawing directly from the teachings that emphasize non-action as the path to clarity. In the Muddy Lake story, Buddha's decision to rest under the fig tree instead of pushing forward offers a practical model for everyday application. When life's disturbances, be it work pressures, family demands, or personal anxieties, stir the mind like mud in water, the key is to pause and apply stillness rather than react. The transcript urges listeners to remember this lake during overwhelming days, noting that your racing mind is not broken. It is simply stirred up by the demands and pressures of daily life. By applying this, one trusts that peace emerges naturally, as seen when the lake clears after half an hour of rest, revealing fish and stones in sunlight. In modern contexts, like commuting through London traffic or lying awake in Chicago at 2 a.m., the narrator suggests dimming lights, grabbing a blanket, and settling into quiet, applying stillness by just listening to stories without fixing or solving. This daily practice counters stress by allowing the mind to settle, leading to vanished anxiety and peaceful sleep, as reported by listeners. Extending this to the broken bowl narrative, applying stillness means accepting daily losses or changes without immediate reaction. When the bowl shatters, spilling rice, disciples rush to gather pieces or lament, amplifying stress. Buddha applies stillness, observing serenely and trusting impermanence's wisdom. True peace doesn't come from keeping our possessions intact, but from understanding that we can find joy and meaning in every form that life takes, he teaches. In daily stress, like a job setback or relationship shift, this means pausing to reflect, what broken bowls are we resisting? The transcript advises considering these at night, holding experiences with acceptance to transform loss into purpose, reducing the suffering from wishing things unchanged. This application fosters relaxation by releasing the grip on how things should be, applicable in routines like morning commutes. Breathe, observe without judgment, trust change serves growth. The anger medicine tale provides direct application for emotional stress. When irritation arises, like Priya's rage over spilled curry, apply stillness through silence. Instead of exploding, she places drops on her tongue and stays quiet for 10 minutes, allowing anger to cool. The sage explains this, trusts anger's natural dissipation without words' fuel. Buddha adds, in that space of silence, wisdom can arise, compassion can awaken. For daily stress, such as arguments at work or home frustrations, pause before speaking, count to 10, breathe, trusting the mind's peace emerges. The transcript connects this to mindful speech, cultivating the pause between stimulus and response, preventing escalation and promoting peace. In high-stress scenarios, like traffic or deadlines, this stillness diffuses tension, mirroring Priya's household transformation into joy and laughter. Virat's worry in the cup story shows applying stillness to mental burdens. Hold concerns briefly, then set them down daily. Buddha's demonstration, holding the cup until it feels heavy, teaches applying meditative rest evenings and mornings, picking up only necessary worries. Practice this simple wisdom. Your mind, like my arm, will grow strong, he says. In daily life, amid business or family anxieties, apply by journaling worries, then closing the book. Trusting mindfulness reveals true proportions. The transcript notes this, why stepping away leads to solutions. Applicable in breaks during stressful days. Sit quietly, observe breath, trust, rest, renews clarity without forcing fixes. The beggar's poverty mindset shifts through applying stillness in generosity. Kanthaka, stressed by lack, learns to trust inner riches by pausing to offer smiles or help daily. Buddha's guidance, generosity creates abundance, means applying this in routines, like encouraging a colleague amid personal scarcity stress. Trusting shifts attract opportunities. The transcript describes his gradual improvement, reducing want's turmoil. Buddha's enlightenment applies stillness in persistent stress. His Bodhi tree vow involves trusting meditative stillness through doubt, revealing truths. For daily application, amid dissatisfaction, sit in brief meditation. Trust craving settles via the Eightfold Path's mindfulness. The transcript suggests letting truths settle like seeds overnight, applying in bedtime routines for peace. The Lotus teaching applies by holding stillness in confusion. Instead of analyzing, trust presence like Mahakasyap's smile. In stressful decisions, pause wordlessly, trust intuition clarifies beyond thoughts. Kassapa applies stillness by balancing discipline with openness. After the boy's kindness, he integrates compassion, applying in daily practice to avoid rigidity's stress. Trust receiving softens the heart, accelerating clarity. Angulimala's post-transformation applies stillness to hostility. Trusting non-acceptance of thrown stones, he remains peaceful amid consequences. Applying in conflicts, pause, observe without reaction, trust peace endures. The discouraged monk applies past perseverance daily. Trusting inner strength, he recommits to practice amid doubt, breaking through stress like digging for water. The merchant's wishes apply by trusting self-understanding over fixes. Daily reflection clarifies dissatisfaction's roots. Trusting inner peace fills voids. The golden fish release applies stillness in greed's stress. Matsya pauses, trusts compassion's reward over profit, gaining contentment. The tigress sacrifice applies ultimate stillness. Trusting selflessness relieves suffering, applicable in small daily acts of care amid personal stress. The transcript's invitation share listening spots. Rest without fixing applies community stillness, knowing there's magic in knowing we're all here together. Ending with may all beings be peaceful, apply by trusting shared human peace in stressful moments. Applying stillness daily, as these stories teach, turns stress into peace through trustful pauses, non-resistance, and presence core to the collection's relief. Embracing impermanence and acceptance. The broken bowl, understanding change as natural. The story of the broken bowl, as recounted in the Buddha Story Collection for deep relaxation and stress relief, serves as a profound gateway into embracing impermanence, illustrating how change is not a disruption to peace, but the very fabric of existence that, when understood, leads to lasting inner tranquility. In this tale, Buddha travels with his disciples, carrying few possessions, among them a beautiful ceramic bowl gifted by a grateful villager whose child he had healed. Crafted with skilled hands and painted with delicate lotus flowers that danced around its surface, The bowl had become a symbol of love and service, holding rice from farmers, water from streams, and broth from monks during meals under starlit skies. To his followers, it was almost sacred, representing their master's compassionate journey. One morning, in a grove bathed in golden light, as young monk Rahula Buddha's son approaches with rice and lentils, the bowl slips from Buddha's hands due to morning dew or unpredictable fate. Shattering on a rock with a sharp crack, rice spills, mixing with dirt and leaves, and the lotus paintings fragment across shards. Disciples gasp, rushing to gather pieces or express sorrow, feeling they had failed their teacher. Yet Buddha remains completely still, gazing at the broken bowl with serene acceptance, as if watching clouds drift. No disappointment flashes in his eyes, no frustration tightens his mouth. He simply observes with peaceful understanding. After contemplative silence, he asks gently, "Why do you look so troubled, my dear friends?" An older disciple replies with concern, lamenting the loss of such a meaningful object. Buddha smiles warmly, gesturing to the shards. "This bowl has not gone anywhere. It is exactly where it has always been, right here with us. It has simply changed its form." He picks up a fragment, noting it still carries the lotus painting and the same clay from earth that nurtures plants, shaped by loving hands. "The change," he explains, "is only in thoughts about it, loving it conditionally when whole, deeming it worthless when broken. This attachment to a particular form creates suffering, forgetting that change is the very nature of existence itself." Buddha's voice carries gentle authority as he elaborates. "Everything flows constantly, bodies change with each breath, seasons bring blooming and fading flowers, people enter and depart lives, even mountains transform slowly. Understanding impermanence doesn't diminish love, but frees it. Appreciate sunlight without demanding eternity. Enjoy laughter without clinging." The bowl served perfectly whole, and now teaches release from grip on how things should be. True peace comes from understanding that life is already perfect, exactly as it unfolds, he concludes, brushing rice dust from his hands with contentment. This doesn't mean passivity, but flowing with reality instead of fighting it. The transcript ties this to inner peace, urging listeners to consider what broken bowls you might be carrying in your own heart during rest, resisted changes or losses, turned into suffering by wishing otherwise. Hold them with acceptance, knowing nothing is lost, only transformed, each form purposeful in life's unfolding. This core message aligns with the collection's aim. Stories unlock peace already inside, beneath worry, by revealing impermanence as natural, not cruel. Expanding on this, the broken bowl mirrors broader teachings. In the muddy lake, disturbance is temporary. Trusting stillness restores clarity, embracing change without resistance. The anger story shows emotions change form when silent rage to calm, trusting their impermanence. Priya's outbursts fade, transforming her home, illustrating acceptance of emotional shifts brings peace. For stress relief, apply this in daily breakages, a failed plan or health issue. Instead of lamenting, observe serenely, trust changes lesson. The transcript notes this, why meditation helps stepping away, embraces impermanence, solutions arising from acceptance. In The Beggar's Tale, poverty changes form through generosity. Trusting inner wealth shifts scarcity to abundance. Kanthaka's circumstances transform, showing impermanence works for good when not resisted. Virat's worries, like the cup, grow from clinging. Setting down embraces their transient nature, clarity emerging. Buddha's enlightenment reveals dukkha from craving permanence in impermanent things. Birth, aging, death all change. Cessation through accepting flux via the path. The lotus teaching. Buddha's silence invites seeing beyond forms. Mahakasyapa smiling at impermanence's beauty in the flower. Kassapa's rigidity changes with kindness, embracing balanced acceptance. Angulimala's violence transforms to enlightenment. Trusting past's impermanence doesn't define now. The discouraged monk recalls past perseverance, embracing change in practice. The merchant's dissatisfaction stems from seeking permanence in possessions. Understanding self clarifies impermanence's role in contentment. The golden fish's release embraces life's fluid freedom over fixed gain. The tigress sacrifice. Prince offers body, trusting death's change serves compassion. King Mahadana's generosity trusts all forms. Life or death serve welfare, embracing impermanence selflessly. The transcript's invitation rest without fixing applies this. Trust, stories change stress to peace as impermanence allows settling. Understanding change as natural via the broken bowl frees from suffering, fostering relaxation by flowing with life's inevitable transformations. Releasing attachment to forms and possessions. Releasing attachment to forms and possessions stands as a cornerstone teaching in the Buddha story collection, offering profound stress relief and inner peace by revealing how clinging to the temporary creates suffering, while letting go uncovers freedom already within us. This principle shines brightest in the broken bowl story, where Buddha's cherished ceramic vessel, adorned with lotus flowers, glazed like captured sunshine, and symbolic of love from a healed child's family, shatters unexpectedly. Disciples react with dismay, attempting to salvage shards or mourn the loss, their attachment to the bowl's intact form fueling their distress. Buddha, however, responds with serene observation, explaining that the bowl has simply changed its form. He points out that the fragment still holds the lotus painting, the same clay from nurturing earth, and the artisan's love nothing essential is lost, only the conditional love dependent on permanence. Your love was conditional, dependent on the bowl remaining exactly as you wanted it to remain forever. This is where we create our own suffering, Buddha teaches softly. By releasing grip on specific forms, we embrace change as existence's nature, loving more freely without demanding eternity from sunlight or moments. The transcript expands this. We fall in love with the temporary form of things, and then we suffer when those forms inevitably change. Bodies alter with breaths, seasons cycle, relationships evolve, clinging turns natural flux into pain. True peace arises from holding gifts lightly, appreciating without possession, as Buddha sets down the shard with contentment, noting the bowl now teaches release. For daily application, consider what broken bowls we carry, resisted losses like ended jobs or faded health. Releasing attachment transforms them from suffering to wisdom. This aligns with the collection's magic. Stories unlock inner peace by showing attachment as the root of exhaustion, inviting rest where we don't need to fix anything. This theme echoes in The Beggar's Tale, where Kanthaka's attachment to material lack blinds him to inner possessions like smiles, kind words, compassionate looks, and helpful hands. Buddha reveals, "You believe you have nothing to give, but this belief itself is what keeps you trapped in poverty." Releasing attachment to scarcity's form, Kanthaka gives freely, shifting mindset to abundance, his circumstances transforming gradually. The transcript emphasizes, "The poverty you experience is not truly about money or possessions. It is about a mindset of scarcity that sees only what is missing." By releasing form-bound views, generosity flows, creating prosperity beyond externals, fostering peace from trusting inherent wealth. In the cup of water demonstration, Virat's attachment to worry's persistent form exhausts him, like holding the cup indefinitely. Buddha advises releasing by setting down concerns periodically. Through mindfulness, releasing grip on their weight reveals true manageability. The solution is to learn when and how to set them down, he says, gesturing to the grove's impermanent beauty. Releasing attachment to constant carrying allows rest, where worries change form from overwhelming to proportionate, promoting clarity and strength. The anger medicine story illustrates releasing attachment to rage's explosive form. Priya clings to outbursts, suffering shame afterward, but the sage's medicine teaches silence, releasing words that fuel anger. Anger cannot survive without the fuel of words. The sage reveals its water, but the pause detaches from reactive form, allowing dissipation. Buddha concludes silence extinguishes the burning coal, releasing attachment to expression frees from self-harm. In daily stress, releasing verbal grip on frustrations transforms households, as Priya's did, into joy. Buddha's enlightenment deepens this. Attachment to permanent self or pleasures fuels dukkha, craving tanha, grasping impermanent forms. Releasing through the path right understanding, intention, speech leads to nirodha, peace unbound by forms. The transcript notes, when craving is fully understood and released, suffering ends. This isn't indifference but joy, independent of possessions, releasing forms demands. The Lotus teaching, disciples attached to conceptual forms, analyzing the flower's meaning, but Mahakasyapa releases, smiling at direct truth beyond words. Buddha's silence invites releasing intellectual grip, uncovering simplicity. Kassapa's austerity attaches to denial's form, hardening his heart until the boy's gift prompts release, integrating compassion. Buddha advises balance, releasing rigid forms for flow. Angulimala's attachment to vengeful form, garland of fingers, yields suffering. Releasing via Buddha's compassion, he transforms, attaining enlightenment. Releasing past actions hold, he accepts consequences peacefully. The discouraged monk attaches to doubt's form, but recalling past perseverance releases it, recommitting to practice. The merchant Dhanjaya attaches to possessions' form for happiness, but wishes reveal releasing external fixes for self-understanding brings contentment. True wealth lies not in what we possess externally, but in our capacity to appreciate what we already have internally, Buddha teaches. The golden fish, Matsya, attaches to profit's form, but releasing the creature frees both, gaining peace over gold. Trusting compassion releases possession's trap. The tigress, the prince releases attachment to life's form, offering his body selflessly, transcending separation. King Mahadana releases all forms, even life for others' welfare, his generosity pure without attachment to praise or merit. The transcript's intro challenges attachment to backward stress handling, releasing for Buddha's secret. Resting without fixing releases, daily attachments, stories working magic. Releasing attachment, as tales show, ends suffering from form's impermanence, unveiling peace, innate and unbound. Finding joy in every moment of life. Finding joy in every moment of life emerges as a transformative teaching in the Buddha Story collection, revealing how embracing impermanence and acceptance uncovers a profound, unbound happiness that permeates even the most ordinary or challenging experiences, leading to deep relaxation and lasting inner peace. This joy isn't dependent on perfect circumstances, but arises from understanding change's natural flow, as vividly shown in the broken bowl story. When the bowl shatters, spilling rice and fragmenting its lotus designs, Buddha's serene gaze and gentle smile reflect not loss but contentment in the present. He teaches that joy comes from releasing attachment to forms. When you no longer need life to be different than it is, you discover that life is already perfect, exactly as it unfolds. By finding meaning in whole bowls and broken ones, sunny days and rainy ones, gains and losses, we cultivate joy that flows with reality. The transcript urges resting with this. Tonight, as you rest, consider what broken bowls you might be carrying. See if you can hold these experiences with the deep peace that comes from knowing that nothing is ever truly lost. This moment-by-moment joy counters stress, transforming resisted changes into sources of wisdom and delight. The muddy lake tale complements this, where joy blooms in the restored clarity after stillness. Ananda's wonder at the cleared waterfish swimming in golden shafts, pebbles peaceful on the floor, mirrors the joy of rediscovering the mind's natural peace. Buddha's mindful sip, treating the water as a precious gift, embodies gratitude in the moment. The peace you seek is not something you need to create. It already exists within you, he says, inviting joy through trust in settling. In daily moments, like a quiet breath amid chaos, this joy arises. As the transcript notes, meditation reveals it by allowing inherent clarity. In the anger medicine narrative, joy returns when Priya releases rage's grip, her silence transforming outbursts into calm responses. After 7 days, her home fills with laughter, children playing freely, husband returning early joy in everyday interactions. The sage's revelation that silence was the medicine shows joy in choosing pause over reaction. Buddha's conclusion: in that sacred space of silence, we remember who we truly are, beings capable of wisdom, compassion, and peace. Finding joy in moments of restraint, like forgiving a child's accident, fosters family harmony, relieving stress through present compassion. The beggar's lesson uncovers joy in giving from abundance already present. Kanthaka, once tormented by lack, finds joy in offering smiles, words, and help, his acts creating community bonds. When you give freely, you send a message to the universe that you are not someone who lacks, Buddha teaches, leading to friendships, work, and improved life. The transcript describes his shift, seeing possibilities over limitations, joy radiating from simple kindness. In every moment, like encouraging a stranger, this joy multiplies, turning scarcity's stress into fulfillment. Virat's worry transforms to joy through releasing burdens. Setting down the cup worries allows moments of renewal, where problems shrink and solutions appear. Buddha's gesture to the grove birds, sunlight invites joy in present beauty. You remember that you are not your worries. You are the awareness that can observe, bringing joy in detachment. Daily, pausing amid anxiety yields this, as stepping away often does. Buddha's enlightenment night reveals joy in awakening to truths. Beyond dukkha and craving lies Nirodha's peace, a joy not requiring feeding. The Eightfold Path cultivates this in moments: right speech, kind, right action, harmless, finding joy in ethical living. The transcript: this is the path I offer, clear understanding that can be tested, leading from suffering to the peace that surpasses all understanding. Joy in every meditative breath, realizing freedom. The Lotus teaching: Mahakasyapa's smile finds joy in simplicity, releasing concepts for direct presence. Buddha's silent hold invites joy beyond words, in the flower's impermanent bloom. Kassapa finds joy balancing discipline with compassion, the boy's gift awakening heart's warmth. Buddha: when these two qualities are balanced, they become the foundation of enlightenment. Joy in receiving and giving, flowing with existence. Angulimala's transformation brings joy in redemption. Releasing violence, he attains arhatship, helping others. Despite hostility, joy in peaceful acceptance, trusting karma. The transcript: proof of transformation's potential, joy stronger than hatred. The discouraged monk finds joy in perseverance, past life recall, igniting commitment, breakthrough like water's discovery. Dhanjaya's wishes lead to joy in self-understanding, releasing possessions for inner appreciation. Happiness is something to be uncovered by understanding, the peace that already exists within. The golden fish: Matsya's release brings joy and compassion, the fish's circles dancing light, his heart light with peace over profit. The tigress: Prince's sacrifice finds joy in selfless love, transcending separation, touching sacred unity. King Mahadana's generosity: joy in giving completely, without attachment, his heart open to all suffering. The transcript's shared listening magic in togetherness finds joy in connection, stories settling like seeds. Finding joy in every moment through embracing change turns life's flux into celebration, relieving stress with present delight. Acceptance as the key to true peace. Acceptance as the key to true peace forms the luminous thread running through the Buddha story collection, illuminating how surrendering to life's unfolding, without resistance or demand for alteration, unlocks a profound tranquility that dissolves stress and cultivates deep inner harmony. This acceptance isn't passive resignation, but a wise embrace of reality's impermanent nature, as masterfully depicted in the broken bowl story. When the beautiful ceramic bowl symbol of compassion, gifted after healing a child, painted with dancing lotuses, slips and shatters, Buddha's response embodies perfect acceptance. No dismay, no hurried salvage, just serene observation like watching drifting clouds. This bowl has not gone anywhere. It has simply changed its form, he explains to troubled disciples, highlighting their sorrow stems from rejecting this change. Acceptance here means seeing the shard's continued essence, the lotus art, earth's clay, creator's love, without conditional attachment. True peace comes from understanding that we can find joy and meaning in every form that life takes. When you no longer need life to be different than it is, you discover that life is already perfect, exactly as it unfolds. The transcript invites restful reflection. What changes have you been resisting? What losses have you been turning into suffering by wishing they hadn't happened? This key unlocks peace by holding experiences gently, knowing forms serve purposes in life's great tapestry. In the Muddy Lake tale, acceptance manifests as resting without intervention when disturbance arises. Ananda's initial rejection of the muddy water mirrors our resistance to mental turmoil. Buddha's suggestion to sit under the fig tree, embracing stillness, models accepting the present state. Do not judge the muddiness. Do not try to force clarity. He teaches acceptance, allows natural settling, revealing the lake's and mind's inherent purity. True peace emerges from accepting turbulence as temporary, trusting restoration without fight. The transcript ties this to daily stress. Accept the stirred mind as not broken, allowing peace to surface, fostering relaxation where anxiety vanishes. The anger medicine story portrays acceptance as silent pause amid emotional storms. Priya resists her rage initially, but accepting the medicine's instructions silence for 10 minutes lets anger dissolve without battle. The sage reveals water's ordinariness, acceptance of the moment's trigger as small transforms her responses, restoring household peace. Buddha's insight. Between feeling anger and expressing anger, there is always a choice. Accepting emotions without immediate outlet keys compassion, turning potential destruction into harmony. For the beggar Kanthaka, acceptance shifts from cursing fate to embracing inner gifts. Resisting poverty deepens suffering. Buddha's guidance to accept and give from existing abundance, smiles, words unlocks peace. You are far richer than you realize, he says. Acceptance of scarcity's illusion creates flow, circumstances improving. The transcript: accept mindset over material lack for true prosperity's peace. Virat's cup demonstration. Acceptance means acknowledging worries without perpetual hold, setting them down to accept their transient weight. Buddha's flexing fingers after release symbolizes accepting rest's necessity, peace in observing without identification. You are not your worries. You are the awareness that can observe, keying acceptance for proportionate perspective. Buddha's enlightenment embodies acceptance in realizing four truths. Accept dukkha's pervasiveness, tanha's cause, nirodha's possibility, magga's path. Accepting craving's ignorance ends suffering, peace in flowing without grasp. The transcript: accept these as medicine, settling in hearts for understanding peace. The lotus: acceptance of silence over analysis. Mahakasyapa accepts the moment's simplicity, smiling in peace beyond concepts. Kassapa accepts the boy's gift, releasing austerity's resistance, accepting compassion's integration for balanced peace. Angulimala accepts his darkness via remorse, accepting Buddha's compassion for transformation, peace in facing consequences without defense. The discouraged monk accepts past strength, releasing doubt for committed peace. Dhanjaya accepts self-understanding over wishes, releasing possession dependence for inner peace. The golden fish. Matsya accepts compassion over greed, releasing the creature for mutual freedom's peace. The tigress. Prince accepts sacrifice, peace in selfless unity. King Mahadana accepts any form, even death, for welfare's peace. The transcripts rest. Invitation: accept story's magic without fixing. Peace in shared presence. Acceptance as key dissolves resistance, revealing peace in every unfolding moment. Transforming loss into wisdom. Transforming loss into wisdom represents the alchemical heart of the Buddha story collection, demonstrating how embracing impermanence through acceptance turns moments of apparent defeat or sorrow into profound sources of insight and growth, ultimately leading to unshakable inner peace and stress relief. This transformative process is poignantly captured in the Broken Bowl story, where what appears as a tragic loss, the shattering of a cherished, symbolic possession, becomes a teaching vehicle under Buddha's guidance. The bowl, once whole and beautiful, gifted in gratitude and serving faithfully through meals and travels, breaks irreparably, its fragments scattering with spilled rice. Disciples' reactions of dismay and attempts to reassemble reflect the human tendency to view loss as final destruction, amplifying suffering through resistance. Buddha, however, transforms this by accepting the change serenely, using it to illuminate impermanence. This bowl served me perfectly when it was whole. Now it serves me perfectly by teaching us about the freedom that comes from releasing our grip on how we think things should be. The loss becomes wisdom, revealing attachment's role in pain, the constancy of essence beyond form, and life's perfection in every phase. The transcript urges, nothing is ever truly lost, it only changes form, and every form has its own perfect purpose in the great unfolding of your life. By transforming loss into this understanding, we gain wisdom that prevents future suffering, fostering relaxation as we rest with broken bowls in our hearts, holding them as teachers rather than burdens. In the muddy lake narrative, loss of clarity, the pristine water turning murky from children and cart, transforms into wisdom through patient acceptance. Ananda's initial disappointment represents our sense of loss when peace seems obscured. Buddha's rest under the fig tree turns this into a lesson on non-action. The lake's self-clearing reveals the mind's innate purity. Wisdom gained, fight disturbance creates more, but acceptance allows natural resolution. Your mind never loses its natural clarity, even in moments of greatest confusion. Buddha teaches, transforming perceived loss of peace into trust in inherent stillness. Applied nightly, this wisdom relieves stress, as the transcript promises stories work magic while resting, turning temporary losses into restored insight. The anger medicine tale transforms Priya's repeated losses, family joy, eroded by rage, into wisdom via the sage's guidance. Each outburst brings shame, a loss of self-control and relationships. Accepting silence is medicine, mere water, teaches anger's transience without fuel. Her home's restoration, laughter returning, tension dissolving, embodies wisdom. Anger lives not in our hearts but in our mouths, per the sage. Buddha adds the pause, cultivates choice, transforming emotional loss into compassionate response. This wisdom prevents destruction, as Priya sees triggers as manageable, offering stress relief in daily irritations by accepting pauses as transformative. Kanthaka's story transforms poverty's loss, dignity, security, hope, into wisdom of inner abundance. Attached to lack, he loses joy in comparisons. Buddha transforms this by revealing untapped gifts, smiles, words, compassion. Generosity creates abundance, not the other way around. Teaching loss stems from scarcity mindset. Wisdom in giving shifts to prosperity. Kanthaka's improved life work, friendships shows transforming perceived loss into generous action, yields fulfillment, relieving want's stress. Virat transforms worry's cumulative loss exhaustion, presence into wisdom by accepting rest's necessity. Holding the cup endlessly mirrors, clinging to concerns, releasing teaches, burdens grow from grip, not inherent weight. Wisdom, many of the worries, begin to appear in their true proportion, per Buddha, transforming mental loss into mindful carrying. Pick up only what's needed, set down freely. This daily wisdom brings peace, as stepping away reveals solutions, countering fatigue. Buddha's enlightenment transforms years of searching's loss, unanswered questions, austerity's failure into four truths' wisdom. Accepting dukkha's universality, tanha's cause, he gains nirodha's cessation and magga's path. Loss of illusion becomes wisdom, peace independent of conditions. The transcript, truths as medicine, transforming suffering into verifiable freedom, wisdom settling like seeds. The lotus, disciples' loss of understanding transforms when Mahakasyapa accepts silence, wisdom in simplicity beyond concepts, turning confusion into radiant smile. Kassapa transforms austerity's loss, heart's openness, into wisdom via the boy's gift. Accepting compassion balances discipline, accelerating enlightenment. Angulimala transforms murderous loss, innocence, humanity, into wisdom of Buddha nature's intactness. Accepting remorse, he attains arhatship, wisdom, no darkness impenetrable, transforming past into teaching others peace. The discouraged monk transforms doubt's loss into wisdom of innate perseverance, past life recall turning despair into breakthrough. Dhanjaya transforms dissatisfaction's loss, despite wealth into self, understanding's wisdom, releasing externals for inner appreciation, true contentment. Matsya transforms potential wealth's loss by releasing the fish, wisdom in compassion's greater reward, gaining heart's lightness. The prince transforms life's loss to the tigress into wisdom of boundless love, transcending separation. Mahadana transforms everything, even life, into wisdom of selfless compassion, teaching God's human heart's depth. The transcript transforms listeners' losses, stress, sleeplessness into wisdom via stories, ancient keys unlocking inner peace, transforming loss into wisdom through acceptance, alchemizes pain into growth, keying true peace, mastering emotions and inner turmoil, the medicine for anger, the power of silence. The medicine for anger, as portrayed in the Buddha story collection, designed for deep relaxation and stress relief, unveils the transformative power of silence as a simple yet profound tool for mastering one of the most volatile emotions, turning potential destruction into opportunities for compassion and inner peace. This teaching unfolds through the story of Kassapa, a young monk troubled by persistent anger despite dedicated practice. Approaching Buddha under the Bodhi tree after a day of teachings, Kassapa confesses his shame. Despite meditation and study, small incidents like a fellow monk knocking over his water bowl ignite rage, leading to harsh words. How can I control this anger that seems to have a life of its own? He asks, echoing the struggles many face in daily turmoil. Buddha, with infinite compassion, shares the tale of Priya, a woman whose generous spirit and love for her family were overshadowed by explosive anger over minor provocations, misplaced sandals, spilled water, wandering goats. Her outbursts filled her home with tension, her husband avoiding return, children whispering in fear, joy replaced by nervous silence. Priya's nightly guilt and promises for change proved futile, as frustration reignited daily, deepening her hopelessness. One morning, a traveling sage knocks at her door, requesting food. Priya's innate kindness leads her to prepare a meal, and his peaceful presence prompts her confession, "I have this anger inside me that erupts like a volcano, destroying my family's happiness. I've tried everything. Nothing works." The sage, listening attentively, offers a small bottle of clear liquid as powerful medicine for anger, with precise instructions. At anger's rise, place 4 drops on the tongue and keep the mouth closed for 10 full minutes. Speaking nullifies its power. Priya agrees eagerly. That afternoon, her son spills curry, rage surges, but she applies the drops and seals her lips. Thoughts swirl initially, but without outlet, anger loses intensity, cooling to embers. After 10 minutes, she sees the accident as a child's mistake, responding gently, "It's okay, let's clean this up together." Day by day, this practice transforms her household. Children laugh, husband returns early, neighbors visit, peace radiates. When the sage returns, Priya praises the miracle. He smiles, revealing the bottle held only well water. The real medicine was the power of silence. Anger cannot survive without the fuel of words. Like a fire without wood, it simply burns out naturally. Between stimulus and response lies choice. Silence allows wisdom and compassion to awaken. Buddha pauses, addressing Kassapa. Anger is like a burning coal. You are the one who gets burned first. But silence is the cool water that extinguishes the coal. This cultivates mindful speech, remembering our true nature beyond emotions. The transcript positions this as ancient medicine for modern hearts. In rage's grip, pause silently, transforming turmoil into peace. Stories like this promise anxieties vanish and restful sleep, unlocking inner calm. Silence isn't suppression but space for acceptance. Aligning with impermanence, anger's form changes when not fed. Extending to other tales, the muddy lake shows silence's power. Resting quietly, disturbances settle, wisdom in non-action. The broken bowl. Buddha's contemplative silence transforms loss into teaching, accepting change without verbal lament. Virat's cup. Silence in setting worries down allows their dissipation, wisdom arising quietly. Buddha's enlightenment. Meditative silence peels ignorance, truths dawning without force. The lotus. Buddha's wordless hold. Silence birthing Mahakasyapa's insight, power beyond concepts. Kassapa's austerity. Silence broken by Boy's kindness, but integrated practice includes mindful pause. Angulimala. Silence in accepting Buddha's words stops running, transforming violence. The discouraged monk. Silence in reflection recalls strength, silence fueling perseverance. Danjaya. Silence in self-examination reveals dissatisfaction's roots, silence birthing understanding. The golden fish. Matsya's silent empathy amid the creature's distress leads to compassionate release. The tigress. Prince's silent offering, acceptance in ultimate silence. King Mahadana. Silent readiness to give life, power in selfless quiet. The transcript's invitation, silence in listening, stories working magic without effort, shared quiet across worlds. Silence is power, as anger's medicine, masters emotions by providing space for fade, turning reactive fire into compassionate light, key to peace. Handling worry like holding a cup. Handling worry like holding a cup offers a simple yet illuminating metaphor in the Buddha story collection for mastering the subtle turmoil of anxiety and mental exhaustion, teaching that worries themselves are not the problem, but our prolonged attachment to them, and through mindful release, we can transform endless fretting into moments of clarity and peace. This teaching comes alive through the story of Virat, a middle-aged merchant whose successful life managing businesses, supporting family, bearing responsibilities is overshadowed by crushing worry that follows him everywhere, from work to family time to attempted sleep. His shoulders sag under invisible weight, eyes dart with restless energy, face etched with fatigue as he travels days to seek Buddha's wisdom in a grove outside Shravasti. Blessed One, Virat pleads, voice trembling, I feel as though I am drowning in my own thoughts, worries about business, family, decisions past and future. They circle like vultures, growing stronger. How can I find relief from this endless mental suffering? Buddha, observing Virat's tension and rapid breath, reaches for a clay cup, fills it with water from a nearby pitcher, and holds it steadily. Tell me, friend, how heavy do you think this cup of water is? He asks. Puzzled, Virat estimates a few ounces, easily held. Buddha agrees, but questions what happens if held for an hour arm tires or a day pain ensues. The cup's weight unchanged, but prolonged holding creates burden. Buddha sets the cup down, flexing his fingers, and explains, worries mirror this cup, individual concerns manageable when arising, but carrying them continuously without rest exhausts the mind, making them overwhelming. Your problems don't necessarily become worse over time. Your mind becomes exhausted from carrying them without relief. The solution lies not in denying worries, but in learning to set them down, giving the mind renewal through mindfulness and meditation. Gesturing to the grove birds singing, sunlight filtering Buddha notes, dedicated present moment time reveals worry's true scale. Some smaller, others solvable. Most importantly, you remember that you are not your worries. You are the awareness that can observe and consciously choose to set them down. Virat learns to practice. Evenings, set down day's concerns. Mornings, pick up only essentials, holding briefly. This builds mental strength, carrying burdens with grace. The transcript positions this as essential for stress relief. Worries pile like unset cups, but release fosters peace surpassing circumstances. Tied to the collection's promise, it counters backward stress handling, using Buddha's secret for tonight's relief: rest without fixing, stories unlocking inner calm. This metaphor echoes the muddy lake. Worries stir like mud, but setting down through stillness clears them, transforming exhaustion into clarity. When your mind becomes turbulent, the wisest thing you can do is be still, paralleling cup's release. In the broken bowl, Worries about loss amplify if held. Buddha sets down attachment, transforming into wisdom. Holding the shard briefly, he releases, showing grace in impermanence. The anger medicine. Priya holds silence like setting down words, anger cooling without fuel. Worry, too, dissipates when not continuously gripped, space allowing compassion. The beggar's scarcity worries stem from holding lack. Buddha teaches setting down by giving, transforming into abundance. Shift in your inner attitude changes everything, releasing mental grip. Buddha's enlightenment, holding questions for years, exhausts. Under Bodhi, he sets down extremes, meditation revealing truths. Dukkha from holding cravings, release via path brings peace. The lotus, disciples hold analytical worries. Mahakasyapa sets down, smiling in direct truth. Kassapa holds austerity rigidly, setting down via boy's gift integrates compassion, transforming practice. Angulimala holds vengeful pain, setting down in Buddha's presence transforms to enlightenment, holding consequences lightly. The discouraged monk holds doubt, setting down recalls strength, transforming to perseverance. Dhanjaya holds dissatisfaction, setting down wishes for self-understanding transforms to contentment. The golden fish. Matsya holds prophet's worry, setting down releases, transforming to joy. The tigress. Prince sets down life, attachment, transforming sacrifice into compassion's wisdom. King Mahadana sets down all possessions, even life, transforming into pure generosity. The transcript's rest. Set down daily worries, listen in present, transforming stress into magic peace. Handling worry like a cuphold mindfully, release regularly masters turmoil, keying relief through acceptance and rest. Overcoming craving and dissatisfaction. Overcoming craving and dissatisfaction stands as a central pillar in the Buddha story collection, providing a roadmap for mastering the restless inner turmoil that fuels much of human suffering, and through deep understanding and release, transforming endless wanting into a state of profound contentment and peace. This teaching reaches its pinnacle in Buddha's enlightenment story, where under the Bodhi tree on a full moon night, the Prince Siddhartha, having abandoned palace life and extreme austerities, enters deep meditation, vowing not to rise until truth is realized. In the third watch, the four noble truths blaze forth. First, dukkha, the pervasive dissatisfaction in conditioned existence, not just obvious pain like birth, aging, sickness, death, but subtle restlessness even in joy. As pleasures carry losses' seeds, achievements spawn new goals, love fears, separation. The second truth identifies craving tanha as dukkha's root, a thirst not merely for pleasures, but to grasp impermanent things, making permanent what can't be, finding satisfaction in the unsatisfying. Craving manifests in three forms: sensual desires for gratifying experiences, existence's continuation to maintain identity, and non-existence to escape unbearables, all fueled by ignorance of reality, believing separate selves can control fleeting phenomena. Yet, the third truth offers hope. Cessation, nirodha, is possible. Nirvana, extinguishing greed, hatred, delusion through releasing craving, discovering peace independent of circumstances, a joy not fed constantly, love without attachment. The fourth truth outlines the eightfold path: right understanding, intention, speech, action, livelihood, effort, mindfulness, concentration, purifying mind for liberation. Buddha's voice carries timeless compassion. When craving is fully understood and released, when the grasping mind learns to let go, when we stop demanding that reality be different from what it is, suffering ends. The transcript presents this as medicine for the human condition, not philosophy but verifiable through experience, settling like seeds for awakening. Overcoming craving isn't denying desires, but seeing their illusory promise, transforming dissatisfaction into freedom. This echoes the beggar's tale, where Kanthaka's dissatisfaction begging amid others' abundance, whispering why gods curse him, stems from craving material security, ignorant of inner riches. Buddha reveals, "You are poor because you have never learned to give. Craving receives but overlooks smiles, words, compassion as treasures." Releasing this, Kanthaka overcomes scarcity's thirst, generosity creating abundance, dissatisfaction transforming to joy and presence. In Dhananjaya's 3 wishes, dissatisfaction despite wealth, vast houses, overflowing stores, luxurious life arises from craving more, emptiness growing with acquisitions. Initial wishes for freedom from worries, desires fail, as craving can't be wished away. The third understanding self reveals happiness uncovered internally, not acquired externally. Buddha, true wealth lies in our capacity to appreciate what we already have internally. Overcoming craving through insight ends the void, peace in non-grasping. The cup story links dissatisfaction to held worries, craving resolution, exhausting like prolonged grip. Virat's fretting over ventures, family, decisions fuels restlessness. Releasing via mindfulness overcomes this. Worries proportioned, dissatisfaction in constant mental load dissolved. The broken bowl, dissatisfaction from loss, stems from craving permanence. Buddha overcomes by accepting change, transforming to wisdom, joy unbound by forms. The muddy lake, dissatisfaction in turbidity, arises from craving immediate clarity. Resting overcomes, revealing natural peace without demand. Priya's anger, craving expression fuels outbursts, dissatisfaction in aftermath. Silence overcomes, craving for reaction released, peace in pause. The lotus, disciples' dissatisfaction in confusion from craving explanation. Mahakasyapa overcomes, accepting silence's truth. Kassapa, craving transcendence via austerity breeds dissatisfaction. Boy's gift overcomes, integrating compassion. Angulimala, craving vengeance from betrayal creates killer. Buddha's compassion overcomes, releasing to enlightenment. The discouraged monk, dissatisfaction installed practice from craving quick breakthrough. Past recall overcomes, perseverance renewed. The golden fish, Matsya's craving profit breeds potential dissatisfaction. Release overcomes, compassion bringing greater peace. The tigress, prince overcomes self-preservation craving, sacrifice transforming to universal love. King Mahadana, no craving for personal gain, generosity pure, overcoming any dissatisfaction in giving all. The transcript's core, craving for something missing, despite abundance overcome by stories unlocking inner keys. Dissatisfaction ending in restful listening, peace as birthright. Overcoming craving, truths show, masters dissatisfaction by releasing grasp, wisdom in impermanence yielding contentment. Overcoming craving and dissatisfaction. Overcoming craving and dissatisfaction stands as a central pillar in the Buddha story collection, providing a roadmap for mastering the restless inner turmoil that fuels much of human suffering, and through deep understanding and release, transforming endless wanting into a state of profound contentment and peace. This teaching reaches its pinnacle in Buddha's enlightenment story, where under the Bodhi tree on a full moon night, the Prince Siddhartha, having abandoned palace life and extreme austerities, enters deep meditation, vowing not to rise until truth is realized. In the third watch, the four noble truths blaze forth. First, dukkha, the pervasive dissatisfaction in conditioned existence, not just obvious pain like birth, aging, sickness, death, but subtle restlessness even in joy, as pleasures carry loss's seeds, achievements spawn new goals, love fears separation. The second truth identifies craving, tanha, as dukkha's root, a thirst not merely for pleasures but to grasp impermanent things, making permanent what can't be, finding satisfaction in the unsatisfying. Craving manifests in three forms: sensual desires for gratifying experiences, existence's continuation to maintain identity, and non-existence to escape unbearables, all fueled by ignorance of reality, believing separate selves can control fleeting phenomena. Yet, the third truth offers hope. Cessation, nirodha, is possible. Nirvana, extinguishing greed, hatred, delusion through releasing craving, discovering peace, independent of circumstances, a joy not fed constantly, love without attachment. The fourth truth outlines the eightfold path: right understanding, intention, speech, action, livelihood, effort, mindfulness, concentration, purifying mind for liberation. Buddha's voice carries timeless compassion. When craving is fully understood and released, when the grasping mind learns to let go, when we stop demanding that reality be different from what it is, suffering ends. The transcript presents this as medicine for the human condition, not philosophy but verifiable through experience, settling like seeds for awakening. Overcoming craving isn't denying desires, but seeing their illusory promise, transforming dissatisfaction into freedom. This echoes the beggar's tale, where Kanthaka's dissatisfaction begging amid others' abundance, whispering why gods curse him, stems from craving material security, ignorant of inner riches. Buddha reveals, "You are poor because you have never learned to give. Craving receives but overlooks, smiles, words, compassion as treasures." Releasing this, Kanthaka overcomes scarcity's thirst, generosity creating abundance, dissatisfaction transforming to joy in presence. In Danjaya's three wishes, dissatisfaction despite wealth, vast houses, overflowing stores, luxurious life arises from craving more, emptiness growing with acquisitions. Initial wishes for freedom from worries, desires fail, as craving can't be wished away. The third understanding self reveals happiness uncovered internally, not acquired externally. Buddha. True wealth lies in our capacity to appreciate what we already have internally. Overcoming craving through insight ends the void, peace in non-grasping. The cup story links dissatisfaction to held worries, craving resolution, exhausting like prolonged grip. Virat's fretting over ventures, family, decisions fuels restlessness, Releasing via mindfulness overcomes this, worries proportioned, dissatisfaction in constant mental load dissolved. The broken bowl, dissatisfaction from loss stems from craving permanence. Buddha overcomes by accepting change, transforming to wisdom, joy unbound by forms. The muddy lake, dissatisfaction in turbidity, arises from craving immediate clarity. Resting overcomes, revealing natural peace without demand. Priya's anger, craving expression, fuels outbursts. Dissatisfaction in aftermath, silence overcomes, craving for reaction released, peace in pause. The lotus, disciples' dissatisfaction in confusion from craving explanation. Mahakasyapa overcomes, accepting silence's truth. Kassapa, craving transcendence via austerity breeds dissatisfaction. Boy's gift overcomes, integrating compassion. Angulimala, craving vengeance from betrayal creates killer. Buddha's compassion overcomes, releasing to enlightenment. The discouraged monk, dissatisfaction in stalled practice from craving quick breakthrough. Past recall overcomes, perseverance renewed. The golden fish, Matsya's craving profit breeds potential dissatisfaction. Release overcomes, compassion bringing greater peace. The tigress, prince overcomes self-preservation craving, sacrifice transforming to universal love. King Mahadana, no craving for personal gain, generosity pure, overcoming any dissatisfaction in giving all. The transcript's core, craving for something missing despite abundance, overcome by stories unlocking inner keys. Dissatisfaction ending in restful listening, peace as birthright. Overcoming craving, truths show, masters dissatisfaction by releasing grasp. Wisdom in impermanence, yielding contentment. Cultivating mindful speech and pause. Cultivating mindful speech and pause serves as an essential practice in the Buddha story collection for mastering emotional turmoil, emphasizing that by intentionally creating space between thought and word, we can transform reactive communication into deliberate expressions of wisdom and compassion, ultimately leading to greater inner peace and reduced stress. This cultivation is central to the anger medicine story, where Buddha shares the tale of Priya to help Kassapa overcome his outbursts. Priya's uncontrolled speech, harsh words erupting like poison over minor issues, creates cycles of guilt and family discord, her reactions immediate and unfiltered. The sage's remedy, a bottle of water requiring 10 minutes of closed-mouth silence after drops on the tongue, forces a pause that interrupts this pattern. In that enforced quiet, Priya's anger thoughts swirl but fade without verbal fuel, allowing her to speak from clarity, gentle words to her son after the spill, fostering healing instead of harm. The sage reveals, anger cannot survive without the fuel of words. When we remain silent, anger has no food to sustain itself. Buddha reinforces, we practice mindful speech, the pause between stimulus and response. In that sacred space, we remember who we truly are, not creatures driven by every passing emotion, but beings capable of wisdom, compassion, and peace. Cultivating this pause turns speech into a tool for harmony, as Priya's home blooms with joy after consistent practice. The transcript highlights mindful speech as medicine. Most turmoil grows from unchecked words, but pause cultivates choice, responding from highest self. This practice relieves stress by preventing escalation, aligning with the collection's ancient keys for vanishing anxiety and restful nights. In the Broken Bowl Tale, disciples' reactive expressions of sorrow amplify distress. Buddha's mindful pause, contemplative silence before speaking, allows compassionate teaching. "Why do you look so troubled?" His words, born from pause, guide without judgment, cultivating understanding over reaction. The Muddy Lake. Ananda's disappointed words about the murky water reflect reactive speech. Buddha pauses, suggesting rest, his gentle response, "Let us rest here." Sometimes the wisest action is simply to be still. Models. Mindful speech. Pause, leading to clarity's restoration. Virat's cup. His torrent of worried words reveals turmoil. Buddha pauses, demonstrating with the cup his mindful explanation, cultivating release. The solution is to learn when and how to set them down. Pause in speech allows teaching to land softly. The beggar's frustration. Kanthaka's reactive pleas and disbelief at Buddha's words stem from pain. Buddha pauses compassionately, his speech mindful. "You believe you have nothing, but you are far richer," cultivating shift through kind redirection. Buddha's enlightenment. The path's right speech, truthful, kind, requires pause to avoid harm, cultivating ethical communication that overcomes cravings, dissatisfaction. The lotus. Buddha's ultimate pause, wordless holding, cultivates direct insight. Mahakasyapa's silent smile responds mindfully, beyond verbal reaction. Kassaka's confession. His harsh words to the monk show failed pause. Buddha's response cultivates integration, mindful speech, balancing discipline with compassion. Angulimala's shouts. Reactive frustration in chasing. Buddha's paused words. "I have stopped," cultivate transformation, later mindful acceptance of hostility. The discouraged monk's shame. Reactive self-doubt in words. Buddha's mindful recall cultivates encouragement, pause, revealing strength. Dhanjaya's pleas. Reactive seeking fixes. Buddha's paused guidance cultivates self-understanding, mindful speech leading to contentment. The golden fish. Matsya's excited plans reflect reactive greed. Buddha's compassionate query cultivates pause, leading to release. The tigress. Prince's gentle speech to the animal cultivates selfless offering. Pause in action, birthing compassion. King Mahadana. His vow and responses to the beggar cultivate boundless giving, mindful speech affirming readiness for sacrifice. The transcript's narrator cultivates connection. If it feels right, share where you're listening from. Pause, inviting shared presence. Mindful words, building community peace. Cultivating mindful speech and pause masters emotions by choosing compassion, essential for harmony. The essence of generosity and compassion. Giving from inner abundance, the beggar's lesson. The beggar's lesson in the Buddha story collection exemplifies the essence of generosity as an act rooted in recognizing one's inner abundance, teaching that true giving flows not from material wealth, but from the boundless resources of the heart, transforming personal scarcity into communal prosperity and inner peace. This profound teaching unfolds through the story of Kanthaka, a man known simply as the beggar in the village of Rajagaha, whose life is marked by severe poverty, patched clothes, tattered sandals, a small bundle holding only a wooden bowl and blanket. Each day follows a grueling pattern, rising before dawn from sheltered corners, walking streets with extended hands, often met with turned backs or invisibility, surviving on occasional rice or coins. His suffering deepens through constant comparison, watching merchants count profits, families share meals, children play with toys, fostering a sense of abandonment by fortune and gods, whispering nightly questions of past wrongs, deserving such fate. When Buddha arrives, drawing seekers, Kanthaka hears of transformations, burdened faces lightening after audiences. Hoping for answers or change, he joins the line, standing before Buddha under a banyan tree. Buddha's presence radiates richness beyond wealth, simple robes, compassionate eyes, accepting smile. Kanthaka prostrates, voicing pain. Why have the gods been so cruel? While others are blessed with abundance, I harm no one, yet trapped in endless want. Buddha listens with full attention, then shocks. You are poor because you have never learned to give. Kanthaka reacts in disbelief. How give with empty hands, thin body, nothing to offer? Buddha smiles understandingly. You believe you have nothing, but this belief traps you. You are far richer than you realize. He points to Kanthaka's face, a smile, precious as gold to the sad, costing nothing yet lighting days. A voice for kind words, encouragement to hopeless, comfort to pained, appreciation to ignored treasures beyond granaries, eyes for compassionate looks, seeing hearts beyond circumstances, giving value, hands and strength for help elderly loads, mothers with children, neighbors repairs creating community bonds, true prosperity's foundation. You have been looking at wealth completely backwards. Generosity creates abundance, not the other way around. Giving from what one has sends a message of sufficiency, shifting life's response. Poverty is scarcity mindset, not material lack. Releasing this, giving from abundance within, transforms outer circumstances. Kanthaka feels a profound shift, seeing opportunities to give daily. From that day, he offers smiles, encouragement, help. People respond differently, seeing blessing, not burden. Opportunities arise, friendships form, life improves. Most importantly, he discovers true wealth in bringing light through presence, kindness, care. The transcript emphasizes the poverty is about a mindset of scarcity. Once you release this and begin to give, you will discover that the outer circumstances begin to shift as well. This lesson ties to the collection's core. Generosity from inner abundance overcomes dissatisfaction, unlocking peace already inside, beneath exhaustion. Expanding, this mirrors the broken bowl, giving up attachment to forms, abundance in change's essence. Buddha gives the teaching freely, transforming loss into lesson. In the muddy lake, abundance in stillness, giving time for settling, reveals clarity, generosity of patience. Priya's medicine, giving silence instead of words. Abundance in pause transforms anger to compassion. Virat's cup, giving rest to the mind. Abundance in release overcomes worry's weight. Buddha's truths, craving's end gives liberation. Abundance in non-grasping. The lotus, giving up analysis. Abundance in silence yields insight. Kassapa, giving openness to kindness. Abundance in balance. Angulimala, giving up violence. Abundance in remorse leads to enlightenment. The discouraged monk, giving commitment, abundance in perseverance. Dhanjaya, giving up external fixes, abundance in self-understanding. The golden fish, giving freedom, abundance in compassion over profit. The tigress, giving life, abundance in selfless love. King Mahadana, giving everything, abundance in non-separation. The transcript sharing, giving locations, abundance in togetherness. Giving from inner abundance, beggar's lesson shows, cultivates generosity's essence, turning scarcity to peace. Selfless love, King Mahadana's sacrifice. Selfless love, as exemplified in King Mahadana's sacrifice within the Buddha story collection, captures the pinnacle of compassion where personal boundaries dissolve and giving becomes an expression of profound interconnection, teaching that true generosity arises not from obligation or expectation, but from recognizing no separation between one's happiness and the welfare of all beings, leading to enlightenment's boundless peace. This story, shared by Buddha to his disciples after teaching the Four Noble Truths, illustrates how compassion extends beyond ordinary limits, even challenging the gods. In ancient times, King Mahadana ruled a prosperous kingdom between mighty rivers and fertile valleys, his heart shaped by early witnesses to suffering famines, leaving children begging, floods destroying villages, plagues separating families. These planted seeds of understanding. A king's happiness means nothing if people suffer, wealth meaningless amid poverty, power in giving, not taking. Ascending the throne, he vowed, "As long as I draw breath, no one in my kingdom shall go without food, shelter, or care. My treasury exists for the welfare of all. My heart open to any who suffer." He lived this legendarily. Grain to failed farmers, loans without repayment to robbed merchants, care for orphans as his own, welcome to travelers like family. What made his generosity remarkable was its spirit, not for praise, merit, or self-satisfaction, but from realizing no difference between his joy and others. Feeding a hungry child, fed his own heart's hunger, sheltering the homeless healed universal homelessness from love's absence. News reached the gods, where Indra, skeptical of human purity after seeing selfish rulers, tests Mahadana. Disguised as a frail beggar in tatters, he approaches the palace during audience. Mahadana rises, meets at eye level, offers comfort. "What can I provide? Food, rest, whatever within my power, freely." The beggar questions boundless generosity's truth. Mahadana affirms no request refused if helping. Pressing, the beggar asks for the impossible. "Give me your life. I am a hungry spirit, satisfied only by a compassionate one's sacrifice." Court gasps, guards advance, but Mahadana raises hand for silence, face fearless. "Of course, if my death ends your suffering, it is a privilege." He prepares, ministers for governance, words of love to family, wealth to poorest. Kneeling ready, his sincerity stuns Indra, who reveals divine form. "You have taught me selfless love's meaning. Your willingness shows transcendence of separation's illusion." Mahadana lives on, light for others. Buddha concludes, "Real generosity is not measured by how much we give, but by how completely. The self we protect is the barrier to true joy. When we hold nothing back, we lose nothing and gain everything. Their happiness is our happiness." This selfless love leads to enlightenment, offering entire existence to all life's welfare. The transcript ties this to compassion's ultimate truth. Love knowing no boundaries, even self becomes offering. This echoes the tigress story. Prince's selfless sacrifice, offering body to starving mother and cubs, transforms potential tragedy into sacred unity, compassion penetrating desperation. In Angulimala, Buddha's selfless approach, walking into danger, responding with compassion, transforms serial killer to disciple. Love stronger than hatred. The golden fish, Matsya's selfless release, despite financial need, transforms greed to joy, compassion freeing both. The beggar, Kanthaka's shift to selfless giving from inner abundance, transforms scarcity, compassion creating bonds. Priya's medicine, selfless pause, transforms rage to gentle responses, compassion healing family. Virat's cup, Buddha's selfless teaching, transforms worry to mindful release, compassion for suffering. The broken bowl, Buddha's selfless acceptance, transforms loss to lesson, compassion for disciples' distress. The muddy lake, selfless rest, transforms disturbance to clarity, compassion for Ananda's worry. Buddha's truths, selfless path overcomes craving, compassion for all in dukkha. The lotus, selfless silence, transforms confusion to insight, compassion inviting direct seeing. Kassapa, selfless openness to boy's gift, transforms rigidity to balance. The discouraged monk, Buddha's selfless recall, transforms doubt to strength. Dhanjaya, selfless guidance, transforms dissatisfaction to understanding. The transcript's essence, selfless sharing of stories, transforms restlessness to peace, compassion in knowing we're together. Selfless love, Mahadana's sacrifice, teaches essence of generosity, dissolving self, birthing enlightenment's joy. Releasing attachments through kindness. Releasing attachments through kindness represents a subtle yet powerful mechanism in the Buddha story collection, illustrating how acts of genuine care and generosity serve as catalysts for letting go of rigid holdings, whether to possessions, emotions, or self-concepts, ultimately dissolving inner turmoil and revealing a spacious peace that arises from interconnected giving. This theme is poignantly woven into the narrative of monk Kassapa, whose extreme ascetic practices had created an attachment to bodily denial as the path to enlightenment, isolating him from the very human connections that foster true awakening. Living in a remote forest monastery amid mist-covered peaks, Kassapa's reputation for rigorous discipline rising before dawn, for endless meditation, fasting for days until his body became skeletal and grey, stemmed from a deep attachment to the idea that punishing the flesh purified the spirit. He viewed every comfort as a distraction, every pleasure as an obstacle, wearing his deterioration as a badge of spiritual superiority. When other monks expressed concern, he dismissed their words as signs of their own attachments, his heart hardened by this unyielding grip on austerity. One morning, as Kassapa meditated near the monastery entrance, a young village boy gathering herbs paused at his emaciated sight, innocent eyes seeing what adults had normalized, a man in dire need. With natural compassion uncomplicated by spiritual doctrines, the boy approached. "Sir, you look very sick and tired. When did you last eat? Are you hungry?" Kassapa, surprised, explained his fasting for purification and detachment. The boy, puzzled by adult logic that defied practicality, offered from his bundle a portion of flatbread and dried fruit. "Please take this. You look like you need it more than I do." Kasapa's internal struggle ensued. His attachment to discipline demanded refusal, but the child's pure kindness cracked his rigid walls. For the first time, he truly saw the giver, a bright-eyed boy, offering without expectation, and felt a warmth long absent. Accepting the food, he ate, physical strength returning alongside a profound shift, recognizing that his attachment to isolation had blocked the flow of love essential for spiritual growth. This act of kindness became the key to releasing his attachments. Troubled yet grateful, Kasapa sought Buddha, confessing his confusion. Years of denial hadn't awakened his heart like this simple gift. Buddha responded with warmth. Just as a bird needs two wings to fly, so does a seeker need both wisdom and compassion. Discipline without compassion leads to rigidity. Compassion without discipline to indulgence. When balanced, they become enlightenment's foundation. Kasapa's attachment to extreme practice was incomplete. Kindness revealed the need to receive and give openly. Returning, he maintained discipline but opened to community, his practice deepening through kindness's flow. The transcript notes, "That child became your teacher." Awakening flourishes when we remain open to the natural flow of human kindness. Releasing attachments via kindness isn't about abandoning principles, but softening grips that harden the heart, allowing wisdom to flower. This process echoes across stories. In The Broken Bowl, Buddha's kindness to disciples gently questioning their trouble instead of scolding releases their attachment to the object's form, transforming loss into impermanence's lesson. Kindness in his smile lightens heavy hearts, attachments dissolving in shared understanding. The Muddy Lake, Buddha's kind voice to Ananda, "I find myself quite thirsty. Would you be so kind?" And later suggestion to rest, release attachment to immediate solutions. Kindness fostering patience for natural clarity. Priya's medicine, the sage's kind listening and gift, release her attachment to rage's expression. Kindness in silence, allowing compassionate responses, attachments to destructive patterns fading. The beggar's scarcity, Buddha's kind revelation of inner riches, releases attachment to material lack. Kindness in guidance, cultivating generous giving. Virat's worries, Buddha's kind attention and demonstration release attachment to constant holding. Kindness teaching, mindful setting down. Buddha's truths, kindness in offering the path releases cravings, attachments. Compassion for suffering beings, overcoming dissatisfaction. The lotus, Buddha's kind silence releases disciples' analytical attachments. Mahakasyapa's smile, a kind acknowledgement of shared truth. Angulimala, Buddha's kind confrontation, there is no darkness so deep, releases violent attachments, compassion transforming to enlightenment. The discouraged monk, Buddha's kind past, life recall releases doubts, attachments, cultivating perseverance. Danjaya's wishes, Buddha's kind redirection to self-understanding, releases possession attachments, kindness unveiling inner wealth. The golden fish, Buddha's kind plea releases Matsya's greedy attachments, compassion freeing both. The tigress, Prince's kind offering, releases self-preservation attachments, compassion uniting all. King Mahadana, his kind openness to all releases personal attachments, selfless love transcending even life. The transcript's kindness, narrator's invitation to share, releasing isolation's attachments through togetherness, stories kindly unlocking peace, releasing attachments through kindness, as Kasapa's journey shows, softens rigidities, essence of generosity birthing interconnected peace, compassion for all beings, the golden fish story. Compassion for all beings, as illuminated in the golden fish story from the Buddha Story collection, embodies the expansive heart that extends kindness beyond human boundaries to embrace every living creature, teaching that true generosity arises from recognizing the universal desire for freedom and well-being, ultimately releasing attachments and cultivating a peace that flows from harmonious interconnection with all life. This narrative, shared to highlight compassion's boundless nature, unfolds in a peaceful river winding through a dense forest, where ancient trees form a canopy, admitting scattered golden beams of sunlight. Here dwells a magnificent golden fish, its radiant scales catching light like captured sunshine, legendary among forest inhabitants, birds gathering to watch its graceful swims, animals drinking at spots for glimpses, villagers speaking in wonder. This creature symbolizes pure freedom, moving elegantly through clear waters, its intelligence and dignity evoking sacred presence, untouched by worldly concerns. Nearby lives fisherman Matsya, hard-working supporter of his family through river catches, skilled with nets and attuned to aquatic rhythms. Recent hardships, smaller yields, worn nets, growing needs plague him, obsession growing with tales of the golden fish's value, convinced its sale to wealthy collectors or the king would secure his future. Desperation drives him before dawn with finest net, studying habits, determined to capture this prize. After failed casts, he feels a significant pull. Hauling in, he beholds the golden fish, more beautiful than described, scales inner, lit, eyes intelligent and pleading. For a moment, Matsya hesitates, struck by its distress, uncomfortable with his intent. But financial worry overcomes, placing it in a water-filled pot, calculating fortune. As he prepares for the palace, monks approach, among them Buddha, whose peaceful dignity mirrors the fish's. Drawn to the commotion, Buddha senses the situation, the fish's frantic swimming, Matsya's excitement tinged with unease. Approaching gently, Buddha looks at the captive. "Good fisherman, I see you have made quite an unusual catch. What are your plans for this beautiful creature?" Matsya explains eagerly. Capture of the legendary fish, sale for wealth to end struggles. Buddha, eyes on the distressed being. This fish, like all living creatures, wishes above all to be free. Its life belongs to itself. What if you were to release it back? You might receive a reward far greater than any material payment. Matsya, irritated yet intrigued. What reward could be greater than gold? This catch answers my prayers. Buddha smiles patiently. When you release this fish, you free yourself from greed and attachment that keeps your heart in constant turmoil. True wealth is the peace of mind that comes from acting with compassion. The blessings bring a richness no amount of money can purchase. Joy from choosing kindness over cruelty, freedom over captivity. Buddha's words and presence stir Matsya's heart. Looking anew, he sees the fish's desperate longing for freedom, empathy rising for its suffering. After struggle, he decides, You are right. This creature deserves its freedom more than I deserve its value. Lifting the pot, he pours it back. The fish pauses as if acknowledging, then swims joyful circles, scales dancing light across the river. Buddha observes, "See how the fish expresses its gratitude through pure joy. When we release our attachments and choose compassion, our hearts become as light." Matsya walks home with unprecedented peace, emanating from his core chosen kindness over gain, certainty and rightness. Years later, his life enriches not materially, but through values alignment, contentment from compassion for all beings. The transcript emphasizes, compassion knows no species, universal in relieving suffering, blessings from such acts profound. This story teaches extending kindness to all, releasing self-centered attachments, peace in harmony. This compassion echoes Mahadana's sacrifice, selfless giving to beggar, Indra, releasing life, attachment, compassion for suffering, transcending human divine. The tigress, prince's compassion for animal family, releasing body, kindness dissolving separation. Angulimala, Buddha's compassion for killer, releasing judgment, kindness transforming darkness. The beggar, Buddha's compassion reveals inner abundance, kindness releasing scarcity. Priya, sage's compassion offers medicine, kindness releasing rage's hold. Virat, Buddha's compassion demonstrates cup, kindness releasing worry's grip. The broken bowl, compassion for disciples' sorrow, kindness releasing form, attachment. The muddy lake, compassion for Ananda's disappointment, kindness releasing force. Buddha's truths, compassion for dukkha, burdened beings, kindness releasing craving. The lotus, compassion in silence, kindness releasing concepts. Kassapa, boy's compassion offers food, kindness releasing rigidity. The discouraged monk, Buddha's compassion recalls past, kindness releasing doubt. Dhanjaya, compassion guides wishes, kindness releasing external dependence. The transcript's compassion, welcoming all listeners, kindness releasing restlessness through stories. Compassion for all beings, golden fish teaches, releases attachments via universal kindness, essence of generosity birthing peace. The ultimate offering, the prince and the tigress. The ultimate offering, as depicted in the Prince and the Tigress story from the Buddha story collection, encapsulates the pinnacle of selfless compassion, where one willingly surrenders everything, including life itself, to alleviate another's suffering, teaching that true generosity transcends personal survival and reveals the interconnected essence of all beings, leading to a profound peace that arises from complete dissolution of self-other boundaries. This narrative, shared by Buddha during a period when his disciples sought deeper understanding of selflessness after absorbing the Four Noble Truths, draws from one of his previous lives as a bodhisattva, a being dedicated to enlightenment for all. Born as a prince in a royal family, blessed with wealth and comfort, he possessed few material attachments, but an overflowing heart of compassion that compelled him to aid any suffering being. From childhood, while peers played with toys, he cared for injured birds, fed strays, and eased servants' burdens, his love embracing all life forms without distinction. One day, traveling through a remote mountain forest with his retinue, they stumble upon a heartbreaking scene in a secluded grove. a tigress, emaciated from unsuccessful hunting, her ribs protruding, eyes dulled by starvation, lying beside several weak cubs crying for nourishment she cannot provide. Days without prey have left her too feeble to hunt, her maternal instinct tormented by inability to save her young. The prince's companions, fearing the desperate predator, urge quick departure. This creature is starving and dangerous. Leave and allow nature to take its course. But the prince, gazing at the tigress and cubs, sees not a threat, but a universal struggle, the same anguish any parent feels when unable to protect offspring. Compassion overwhelms him, dissolving distinctions. Her suffering is his. The cub's hunger mirrors all beings' vulnerability. "My friends," he declares calmly, "I cannot leave knowing these innocent beings will die when I have the power to save them. Please continue. I have something I must do." Despite protests, he sends them away, remaining alone. Approaching the weakened tigress with a heart full of love and mind, free of fear, he speaks gently. "Noble mother, I see your suffering and that of your precious cubs. I cannot bear to watch you starve when I can provide what you need. Please take my life so you and your children may live. Let my body become the nourishment that restores your strength." What follows demonstrates selfless compassion's miraculous power. The prince lays down, offering himself completely without reservation, his intention so pure it touches existence's core. The tigress, sensing this love, pauses in recognition rather than attacking immediately, as if honoring the sacrifice. In this ultimate offering, the prince releases all attachments to body, life, future driven by compassion that sees no separation. His act embodies the truth. When love becomes so complete that self-preservation yields to others' welfare, something sacred transforms even direst circumstances. Buddha shares this to reveal compassion's depth. The self we think we must protect is actually the very barrier that prevents us from experiencing true joy. The prince's willingness demonstrates that in total surrender, we realize non-separation, their happiness, our happiness, freedom, our freedom, peace, our peace. This selfless generosity isn't about material gifts, but offering existence to awakening and welfare of all. The transcript notes, "When compassion becomes so pure that we would give everything, we discover that we have touched the very essence of what it means to be truly awake." While few face such extremes, every small selfless act, helping a stranger, forgiving a wrong, brings closer to this boundless compassion, transforming daily attachments into liberated joy. This ultimate offering resonates with King Mahadana's sacrifice. Readiness to give life to a beggar, Indra, mirrors the prince's selfless love challenging boundaries, releasing all for welfare. In the golden fish, Matsya's compassionate release despite need parallels, offering freedom over gain, transforming greed to peace through kindness beyond species. Angulimala's redemption. Buddha's offering of compassion walking into danger, giving unconditional acceptance transforms violence. The prince's bodily gift akin to Buddha's fearless presence. The beggar Kanthaka. Buddha offers wisdom of inner abundance, releasing scarcity through compassionate revelation. The prince's life, gift echoing, giving from what one has. Priya's medicine. Sage offers medicine with compassion, releasing rage's attachments through kind guidance. Pause as offering of space for healing. Virat's cup. Buddha offers demonstration compassionately, releasing worry's hold, the offering of teaching like the prince's body freely given for relief. The broken bowl. Buddha offers loss as lesson, compassionately releasing form, attachments, transforming shards into wisdom. The muddy lake offers rest compassionately, releasing forces, attachments, clarity as gift. Buddha's truths offers path compassionately, releasing craving, dukkha's end as ultimate offering to all. The lotus offers silence compassionately, releasing concepts, insight as gift. Kassapa, boy, offers food compassionately, releasing rigidity, balance as transformation. The discouraged monk. Buddha offers past recall compassionately, releasing doubt, strength renewed. Danjaya offers wishes guidance compassionately, releasing external dependence, self-understanding gifted. The transcript offers stories compassionately, releasing restlessness, peace as ultimate gift to listeners. The ultimate offering, Prince and Tigress teach, essence of compassion, releasing self for all's welfare, birthing transcendent peace. The path to awakening and transformation. The Four Noble Truths, Buddha's enlightenment. The Four Noble Truths, revealed during Buddha's enlightenment as detailed in the story collection for deep relaxation and stress relief, form the foundational path to awakening, offering a clear diagnosis of human suffering and its remedy, guiding practitioners from the turmoil of existence to transformative peace through understanding, cessation, and practical steps. This profound revelation occurs on a full moon night in the month of Vesakha, beneath the Bodhi tree, later known as the Tree of Awakening, where the Prince Siddhartha, driven by relentless questions about suffering, settles on a cushion of grass after accepting rice pudding from a village girl named Sujata, realizing extreme asceticism was another attachment. Having searched 6 years practicing austerities that reduced him to a skeleton, mastering meditations with wise teachers, yet unanswered. Why do beings suffer? Why dissatisfaction, even in abundance? Why fleeting happiness? Is lasting peace possible? He vows, I will not rise until I have found the answers that will free all beings from suffering, until enlightenment is achieved or death claims me. As night deepens, meditation peels confusion like old bark. First watch. Vision of past lives, endless birth, death, rebirth cycle, driven by desires and karma. Second, divine eye sees all beings' deaths and rebirths, karma determining destinies, good actions to fortunate realms, harmful to suffering. Third, watch. As dawn nears, four truths illuminate like sunrise. First, dukkha, life's inherent suffering, dissatisfaction, imperfection, unreliability. Not all pain, but even joy shadowed. Pleasure, worries, loss, goals breed new wants, love fears parting, birth's trauma, aging's decline, sickness's limitation, death's unknown, subtle changes unrest, inability to hold anything permanently. Second, samudaya, dukkha's origin in tanha craving, thirst for sensual pleasures, not just physical, any gratification, existence, clinging to identity forever, non-existence, escaping unbearables, ignorance fuels, believing lasting happiness in temporary, separate selves, possessing experiences. Third, nirodha, suffering cessation possible. Nirvana extinguishes greed, hatred, delusion, releasing craving, grasping mind lets go, stopping demands on reality, yielding peace, independent of externals, joy without feeding, love without attachment, not passivity but unconditioned freedom. Fourth, Magga, Eightfold Path to Freedom, interconnected practices, right understanding of truths, intention, wisdom, compassion, driven, speech, truthful, kind, action, harmless, livelihood, supportive of development, effort, persistent, balanced, mindfulness, present awareness, concentration, deep meditation for insight. As understanding crystallizes, Siddhartha becomes Buddha, the awakened one seeking ends, questions answered, crossing from darkness to light. He looks at disciples. These four truths are not philosophical concepts to be debated, but medicine. They show us exactly where suffering comes from and exactly how to heal it. The transcript presents this as the Dharma's core, not blind faith but testable, direct experience verifying, settling like seeds for tomorrow's exploration. Awakening transforms, from prince to teacher, offering liberation to all. This path echoes the muddy lake. Dukkha as muddied mind, tanha as stirring, nirodha as settling, magga as restful wait, awakening in clarity. The broken bowl, impermanence is dukkha, from attachment, tanha, release, nirodha, via acceptance, path, transforming to wisdom, priya's anger, rage as dukkha, craving expression as cause, silence is cessation, mindful speech as path, awakening to compassion, kanthaka's poverty, dissatisfaction, dukkha, scarcity, craving, generosity's release, giving as path, awakening to abundance, virat's worries, mental burden, dukkha, holding as craving, setting down cessation, mindfulness path, awakening to proportion. The lotus, confusion, dukkha, analytical craving, silent acceptance, cessation, direct seeing path, awakening smile. Kassapa, rigidity, dukkha, denial, craving, kindness, integration, cessation, balance path, awakening harmony. Angulimala, violence, dukkha, vengeance, craving, remorse, cessation, practice path, awakening arhat. The discouraged monk, doubt, dukkha, quick success, craving, perseverance, cessation, commitment path, awakening, breakthrough. Dhanjaya, emptiness, dukkha, acquisition, craving, self-understanding, cessation, reflection path, awakening contentment. The golden fish, greed, dukkha, profit, craving, release, cessation, compassion path, awakening joy. Mahadana's sacrifice, separation, dukkha, self-protection, craving, total giving, cessation, selfless love path, awakening transcendence. The tigress, suffering, dukkha, survival, craving, bodily offering, cessation, universal compassion path, awakening unity. The transcript's framework, restless world, dukkha, backward handling, craving, stories, magic, cessation, listening path, awakening, peace for all. The four truths chart awakening, diagnose suffering, identify cause, affirm end, prescribe path, transforming turmoil to liberation. Silent wisdom, the lotus flower teaching. Silent wisdom, as conveyed through the lotus flower teaching in the Buddha story collection for deep relaxation and stress relief. represents the profound path to awakening that transcends verbal explanations and intellectual grasping, inviting a direct, intuitive realization of truth in the present moment, where words fall away, and the essence of enlightenment reveals itself in simplicity and presence. This teaching arises as Buddha notices his disciples, having absorbed many concepts like calming the mind as still water, or releasing attachments as with a broken bowl, still struggling to embody selflessness, fully understanding intellectually but restless in their eyes, attempting to capture truth through thinking rather than experience. Recognizing this intimately from his own past seeking, Buddha rises quietly and walks to a nearby lotus pond, reflecting early stars like scattered diamonds. The lotuses grow abundantly, broad leaves floating serenely on the surface, pristine white blooms emerging untouched from muddy roots that nourish them, a natural symbol of purity arising from worldly conditions. He selects a single perfectly opened flower, its petals luminous in twilight, and returns to the circle, holding it gently in his right hand. The disciples, accustomed to Buddha's skillful use of nature as metaphors, perhaps expecting a lesson on the pure mind from mud or beauty's impermanence, lean forward in anticipation. But Buddha sits in perfect stillness, gazing at the lotus with a gentle smile, uttering nothing. Minutes pass in complete silence. Disciples shift uncomfortably, minds racing to decipher the intended meaning, some exchanging puzzled glances, others mentally cataloging lotus symbolism from teachings, a few closing eyes to meditate, assuming that's the response. This wordless display tests their attachment to concepts, their craving for explanations that the mind can grasp and possess. Yet one disciple, the Venerable Mahakasyapa, simply looks at the flower, Buddha's serene expression, and something extraordinary transpires. Instead of seeking hidden meanings or waiting for words, he sees the moment's perfect simplicity, the teaching beyond all elaboration. A smile dawns on his face, not of solving a puzzle, but awakening from complexity's dream into direct truth's brilliance. His radiant smile widens, realizing he'd searched everywhere for what was present, the lotus embodying enlightenment's essence, beauty from mud, purity untouched by conditions, truth wordless and immediate. Buddha notices immediately, his smile deepening with a teacher's joy at a student's realization. Without speaking, he acknowledges Mahakasyapa's understanding, later tradition holding this as the transmission of Zen's mind-to-mind essence, silent wisdom where Dharma passes beyond scriptures. The story reveals awakening isn't accumulated knowledge, but direct seeing, released from verbal nets. The transcript describes, instead of trying to understand what the flower meant, he simply saw what was there, the perfect simplicity of the moment, the complete teaching that existed beyond all words and concepts. This silent wisdom overcomes turmoil by dropping, seeking, presence unveiling what's always here, fostering relaxation as listeners let stories settle without analysis. Connecting to the collection's themes, silent wisdom aligns with the muddy lake. Verbal reactions to disturbance stir more mud, but silent rest allows settling, awakening to clarity. Buddha's pause before asking Ananda to fetch water again embodies this silent patience over reactive solutions. In the broken bowl, silent contemplation before speaking transforms loss. Buddha's quiet gaze releases attachments, silent wisdom in acceptance beyond lament. Priya's medicine, the enforced silence is the pause cultivating wisdom, silent space overcoming anger's reaction, awakening compassion, the beggar's poverty. Buddha's gentle silence after Kanthaka's outburst allows truth to penetrate, silent wisdom releasing scarcity's illusion, awakening abundance. Virat's cup, silent holding, then setting down teaches release. Buddha's thoughtful nod before explaining cultivates mindful pause, awakening to worry's proportion. The Four Truths, realized in meditative silence. Beyond debate, silent wisdom of direct insight, awakening from suffering. Mahakasypa's story itself, his smile a silent response, awakening beyond the group's verbal puzzles. Kasapa's austerity, the boy's silent offering, simple act without words, releases rigidity, silent wisdom in receiving kindness, awakening balance. Angulimala, Buddha's silent presence amid chase, then words from pause, silent wisdom stopping running, awakening Buddha nature. The discouraged monk, silent reflection on past life releases doubt, awakening perseverance. Danjaya's wishes, silent self-examination overcomes craving, awakening inner contentment. The golden fish, Matsya's silent empathy with the creature's distress releases greed, silent wisdom in compassionate choice, awakening joy. Mahadana's sacrifice, silent readiness to give life beyond verbal defense, silent wisdom in selfless love, awakening transcendence. The tigress, Prince's gentle speech from silent compassion, ultimate offering silent in its purity, awakening unity. The transcripts listening, silent absorption of stories cultivates awakening, magic working without effort, presence over analysis. Silent wisdom, Lotus teaching shows, path to transformation by dropping words for direct seeing, awakening simplicity's peace, balancing discipline and compassion. Monk Kasapa's journey. Balancing discipline and compassion marks a crucial turning point on the path to awakening in the Buddha story collection, as illustrated through Monk Kasapa's journey, teaching that spiritual progress accelerates when rigorous self-control is harmonized with an open heart, capable of giving and receiving kindness, transforming isolated striving into a holistic practice that leads to genuine enlightenment and inner peace. This narrative, shared to address the pitfalls of extreme asceticism, unfolds in a remote forest monastery nestled high among mist-covered peaks, where Kasapa had become legendary for his unparalleled dedication to spiritual discipline. Believing enlightenment required complete mortification of the body and denial of physical desires, he drew from accounts of sages achieving realizations through severe austerities, determined to surpass them. His routine was punishing, rising hours before dawn for meditation, continuing nearly unbroken, viewing every comfort, pleasure, or ease as a step away from liberation. Most extreme was his approach to food, fasting for days, accepting perhaps a handful of rice before another extended period, convinced denying nourishment purified the spirit and demonstrated detachment. His body thinned painfully, ribs visible under grayish skin, movements slowed like an elder's, yet he wore this as honor. Each resisted hunger, a victory over materiality. When fellow monks voiced concern for his health, he responded that their worry revealed their attachments to bodily illusions. his practice isolating him in spiritual pride. The other residents watched with mixed admiration and worry. Some respected his commitment, questioning their own dedication. Others feared harm impeding progress, but none challenged his holy reputation. One morning, as Kassapa meditated near the entrance, a young village boy of 8 or 9, gathering herbs, stopped at his weakened sight. Unlike adults accustomed to the sight, the child's innocent compassion flowed freely. "Sir, you look very sick and tired. When did you last eat something? Are you hungry?" Kassapa opened his eyes, surprised by the direct question from one so young, explaining, "I am fasting to purify my spirit and achieve liberation from all worldly attachments. Food is a distraction from the spiritual path. By denying my body's desires, I am freeing my soul from the prison of material existence." The boy, wearing a puzzled expression at words clashing with practical sense, looked at his bundle simple flatbread and dried fruit from his mother and held it out. "Please take this. My mother always packs more than I need, and you look like you need it much more than I do. It's not very much, but it might help you feel stronger." Kassapa stared, his mind in intense conflict. Discipline demanded refusal to maintain the fast, but the boy's genuine concern, pure motivation, and simple humanity began cracking the walls around his heart. For the first time in months, he saw beyond his spiritual resolve to the person before him, bright eyes full of care, patient hand extended. Almost unconsciously, Kassapa accepted, eating the food first in 4 days, feeling not just physical renewal but a deeper awakening. In pursuing personal liberation through denial, he'd lost touch with relationships through which enlightenment unfolds. The boy watched color return to Kassapa's cheeks, then continued on with joy from helping, needing no reward. For Kassapa, this encounter initiated transformation, gratitude mixed with confusion about his path. Reflecting days, he sought guidance from Buddha, heard teaching in a nearby grove. Approaching humbly, Kassapa prostrated and shared, years of strict discipline believed to purify, yet the boy's kindness awakened his heart more than fasting ever had. "Have I been practicing wrongly? What is the true relationship between discipline and compassion?" Buddha listened with complete attention, smiling approvingly. "My dear Kassapa, just as a bird needs 2 wings to fly, so does a seeker of truth need both wisdom and compassion. Discipline without compassion leads to rigidity and spiritual pride. Compassion without discipline can lead to indulgence, but when balanced and integrated, they become the very foundation of enlightenment itself." Kassapa's efforts weren't wasted, but incomplete. True development requires inner purification and outer love. The child taught what his heart knew, but mind forgot. Awakening flourishes in openness to kindness's flow. Extreme austerity becomes an obstacle when it hardens the heart against the very connections that allow wisdom to flower into compassion. The middle path is dynamic balance, where discipline serves love and compassion is guided by wisdom. Continue meditation and ethics, but with open heart receiving others' gifts, responding with understanding progress, accelerates flowing with existence. Kassapa returned, transformed, discipline intact, but heart open to community, practice deepening unimaginably. Years later, known for balanced wisdom and kindness, he often recalled the boy, whose act opened Buddha's teaching on two wings of awakening. The transcript notes, "Spiritual path is not about escaping from human connection, but about engaging with life from greater wisdom and love, where discipline and compassion dance together in perfect harmony." This balance echoes the muddy lake: discipline in waiting, compassion in gentle teaching, awakening clarity; the broken bowl: discipline in acceptance, compassion for disciples, awakening impermanence's wisdom; Priya's medicine: discipline in silence, compassion in response, awakening calm; the beggar: discipline in giving, compassion for self, others, awakening abundance; Virat's cup: discipline in mindfulness, compassion for burdens, awakening release; the four truths: discipline in path, compassion for suffering, awakening cessation; the lotus: discipline in silence, compassion in presence, awakening simplicity; Angulimala: discipline in practice, compassion from Buddha, awakening redemption; the discouraged monk: discipline in commitment, compassion in recall, awakening perseverance; Dhanjaya: discipline in reflection, compassion in guidance, awakening understanding; the golden fish: discipline in choice, compassion for creature, awakening joy; Mahadana: discipline in vow, compassion in giving, awakening selflessness; the tigress: discipline in resolve, compassion in sacrifice, awakening unity; the transcript's balance: discipline in listening, compassion in sharing, awakening collective peace. Balancing discipline and compassion, Kassava's journey teaches. Path to transformation, where rigor and kindness unite for enlightenment. Perseverance in practice, the discouraged monk's past life. Perseverance in practice, as highlighted in the discouraged monk's past life story from the Buddha Story collection, serves as an inspiring reminder on the path to awakening that even in moments of profound doubt and apparent failure, unwavering commitment can unearth hidden strengths and lead to breakthrough transformations, emphasizing that spiritual progress often emerges from the depths of despair when one refuses to abandon the journey. This teaching arises during one of Buddha's sessions in a peaceful grove, where a group of monks approaches with concern. Among them, a young brother whose sagging shoulders and averted eyes signal deep discouragement. The senior monks explain, this brother vowed solitary meditation until breakthrough but abandoned after weeks, overwhelmed by doubt and lack of progress, fearing he lacks essential qualities for the path, his faltering potentially disheartening others. Buddha, with compassionate gaze, addresses the young monk gently. Is this true? Have you given up on the commitment you made to your practice? The monk nods miserably. Yes, master. I found myself overwhelmed by doubt. Perhaps I am not suited. I lack some essential quality. Buddha, settling against the tree, shares a story to rekindle resolve. This present life is a precious opportunity. If you give up now, you may spend countless future existences regretting. But how is it that you have proved so irresolute? When, in former existences, you demonstrated unwavering determination that saved hundreds of lives. Let me remind you of who you truly are. In a past life during King Brahmadatta's reign in Kasi, the Bodhisattva, Buddha to be, was a merchant leading 500 cart caravans, renowned for wisdom and courage. One season, his caravan crosses a vast sandy desert, fine sand hot as embers by day, traversable only at night with extra supplies of wood, water, food. They travel nocturnally, camping under awnings daytime, guided by a pilot reading stars from the lead cart. After 59 leagues, one night from safety, the exhausted pilot falls asleep. Unguided oxen circle back, retracing the path all night. Dawn reveals they're at yesterday's campsite. Supplies wasted, despair spreading. We traveled all night only to return. Water nearly gone. We are lost and doomed. Men unyoke oxen, spread canopies, but lie in hopelessness, convinced of death. The Bodhisattva refuses, surrender. If I lose heart, all these people will perish. There must be a way, and I must discover it. While cool, he walks the site, spotting grass in dry sand, impossible without underground water. He orders digging. At 60 cubits, spades hit rock. Diggers discard tools in defeat. Hopeless, nothing but rock. But intuition persists. Descending, ear to stone, he hears faint flowing water below. Emerging hopeful, if we give up now, we shall all perish. Take this iron hammer. Strike that stone with all your strength. Inspired, his young assistant obeys, splitting the rock-clear water, rises to palm tree height. Celebration ensues. They drink, bathe, cook, water oxen. At sunset, flag the well for future travelers, continue safely, sell goods profitably, return home enriched. Buddha pauses, addressing the monk. In that lifetime, you were the merchant leader whose determination saved 500. Courage to keep searching. Wisdom to recognize signs. The faith in possibilities. That same strength exists within you now. The only difference is, you have temporarily forgotten who you truly are. Just as he found water beneath rock when hopeless, perseverance uncovers enlightenment beneath doubt. Breakthrough comes in darkest moments. Those persisting discover wisdom's hidden springs. The monk bows, heart renewed, returning to practice with conviction. Enlightenment possible, inevitable for the steadfast. The transcript ties this to transformation. In spiritual development, as in desert survival, breakthrough often comes when the situation seems most hopeless. This perseverance echoes the muddy lake, persistent wait through disturbance, awakening clarity. Practice in patience. The broken bowl, persevere beyond initial loss, awakening impermanence's wisdom. Priya's medicine, daily persistent silence, awakening compassion over rage. Kanthaka, persistent giving despite lack, awakening abundance. Virat, persistent setting down worries, awakening proportion. The Four Truths, Buddha's 6-year perseverance, awakening cessation. The Lotus, Mahakasyapa's quiet persistence in seeing, awakening simplicity. Kassapa, persistence after boy's gift, balancing for awakening. Angulimala, persistent practice post, conversion, awakening arhatship despite hostility. Dhanjaya, persistent reflection, awakening self-understanding. The Golden Fish, Matsya's persistent empathy, awakening compassionate release. Mahadana, lifelong persistent vow, awakening selfless love. The Tigress, Prince's persistent compassion, awakening unity. The transcripts listening, persistent rest, awakening peace through stories. Perseverance in practice, discouraged monks, past teachers, path to transformation, unwavering commitment, uncovering awakening's wellsprings amid doubt. True wealth through self-understanding. The Merchant's Three Wishes. True wealth through self-understanding, as explored in the Merchant's Three Wishes story from the Buddha Story Collection, illuminates the path to awakening by revealing that lasting fulfillment comes not from external acquisitions or magical fixes, but from introspective insight into one's own mind and desires, transforming the illusion of material abundance into genuine contentment independent of circumstances. This teaching, shared to address the common trap of seeking happiness in possessions, centers on Dhanjaya, a prosperous merchant whose shrewd trading and investments had amassed everything society deems successful. Multiple grand houses filled with fine furniture and artwork, storehouses overflowing with grain, gold, and exotic goods, stables of beautiful horses, gardens of rare flowers, and tables laden with delicacies fit for kings. Merchants envied his name, young entrepreneurs studied his methods, his family enjoyed elite status, yet beneath this, Dhanjaya carried a persistent emptiness no wealth could fill. Nights in silk beds found him staring at ceilings, restless despite abundance, wondering if a character flaw prevented contentment, the void growing with each acquisition's fleeting excitement, followed by renewed dissatisfaction. Hearing of Buddha's wisdom bringing peace to troubled hearts, Dhanjaya, driven by mounting desperation, dresses in finest robes, mounts his magnificent horse, and journeys to the grove. Before Buddha, simple orange robes radiating richness beyond money, eyes of depth and accepting smile, Dhanjaya prostrates, confessing, "I possess everything, more wealth than several lifetimes, yet feel empty, as if some essential ingredient for contentment is missing. I've tried acquiring more. Nothing fills this void. Please, any wisdom to find elusive happiness." Buddha listens fully, silent moments reflecting understanding. Then, "I can see your search. Sincere, even if misdirected. What I offer is powerful medicine, but approached with complete faith. I will grant you 3 wishes. Spiritual wishes to address dissatisfaction's roots." Dhanjaya agrees eagerly. First wish, complete freedom from worries. Observe mind over days. Return with discoveries. Optimistic, Dhanjaya goes home, but worries persist. Business, family, decisions unchanged. Returning disappointed. The wish didn't work. Buddha, worries don't disappear by wishing. True freedom from understanding mind and relating differently to thoughts, like clouds passing, when you stop grasping. Second wish, freedom from desires creating restlessness. Again, observe, return. Desires remain more wealth, status craving undiminished. Reporting failure, Buddha, desires, not eliminated through wishing, arise from deeper patterns, transformed through wisdom. One wish left, think carefully. This final wish holds the key. Reflecting on prior failures, Dhanjaya realizes his flaw, solving inner issues externally, like business. For my final wish, I ask for the ability to understand myself clearly, to see why I remain dissatisfied, and discover what true contentment requires. Buddha brightens delightedly. Now you have made a truly wise wish. Seeks understanding rather than escape. Come sit, I will guide you in self-reflection and meditation. Over weeks, Buddha teaches observation with clarity and compassion, daily meditation, examining mind. Dhanjaya sees restlessness from misunderstanding happiness's source, seeking in objects what lies in inner development. Wealth failed because no external can fill ignorance of true nature. Happiness is not achieved through accumulating, but uncovered by understanding. Peace that already exists within. Relationship to wealth transforms, enjoys without dependence, manages business without desperate craving. True wealth in appreciating internally, contentment independent of change. Buddha. True wealth lies not in what we possess externally, but in our capacity to appreciate what we already have internally, and to find contentment independent of changing circumstances. Dhanjaya lives with profound peace from self-understanding, grateful for guidance, showing greatest treasure is knowing one's heart. The transcript positions this as awakening's essence. Self-understanding releases external crutches, transforming dissatisfaction to birthright peace. This mirrors the beggar's lesson. Kanthaka's self-understanding of inner riches overcomes poverty illusion, true wealth in compassionate giving. In Dhanjaya's tale directly, but echoes Virat, self-understanding of worries as held cups leads to release, true wealth in mindful awareness. The Four Truths, self-understanding of dukkha and tanha, awakens cessation via path, true wealth in liberation. The Broken Bowl, self-understanding of impermanence, releases attachment, true wealth in acceptance. The Muddy Lake, self-understanding of mind's nature, releases force, true wealth in stillness. Priya's medicine, self-understanding of anger's fuel, releases reaction, true wealth in pause. The Lotus, Mahakasyapa's self-understanding beyond concepts, awakens simplicity, true wealth in presence. Kassapa, self-understanding via boy's kindness, balances, true wealth in integration. Angulimala, self-understanding of Buddha nature, releases past, true wealth in transformation. The Discouraged Monk, self-understanding of past strength, releases doubt, true wealth in perseverance. The Golden Fish, Matsya's self-understanding of compassion over greed, releases attachment, true wealth in freedom. Mahadana, self-understanding of non-separation, releases all, true wealth in selfless love. The Tigress, Prince's self-understanding of unity, releases life, true wealth in sacrifice. The Transcript's self-understanding, stories unlock something already inside, true wealth in ancient wisdom for modern peace. True wealth through self-understanding, merchant's wishes teach, awakens by turning inward, transforming external pursuit to inner fulfillment.